Chapter 438, Compensation 1. On the ring, Fu Lingshan's brows were tightly furrowed. In a moment of desperation just now, he could only reveal his true abilities. If Wind Moon Sect mediated the situation as they did originally, nothing much would happen, but that damn woman foiled it. Qingtang, how's your condition? Elder Mo looked at his in-name disciple. Master stepped in time, and Fu Lingtian did not manage to harm me. Yi Qingtang smiled. After hearing that, Elder Mo's doting eyes were filled with relief. He indeed misjudged Yi Qingtang in Xianling sect, merely treating her as a disciple who had a gift in forging, yet, unexpectedly, his in-name disciple was actually also a genius. Alright, I will definitely seek justice for you today, Elder Mo said with a nod. At that instant, the Wind Moon Sect elders were infuriated and demanded Qinglin Sect to give them additional compensation on top of repaying the wagers for the previous 3 sect competitions. Apart from Wind Moon Sect, Elder Mo and Elder Qin from Xianling Sect similarly requested for compensation. Other than the wagers that my sect has lost in the previous years and compensation, you, Qinglin Sect, must give additional compensation to my disciple, Yi Qingtang, Elder Mo said. Qinglin Sect could only suffer in silence. They were indeed unaware that Fu Lingtian was at martial qi level 2, and they wanted the answer as to what happened more so than Xianling Sect or Wind Moon Sect. The Qinglin Sect elders had ugly expressions and did not know how to reply to the strong voices of Xianling Sect and Wind Moon Sect. Fu Lingshan's martial skills had always been at the second stage of the third heaven in martial qi level 1, and they were utterly clueless as to why it would suddenly become the second heaven of martial qi level 2. Nonetheless, it was impossible for them to interrogate Fu Lingtian for details right then. Qinglin Sect, I think you all should give us an explanation today. Elder Qin scoffed. Please calm down. We are discussing right now. The Qinglin Sect elder frowned. Okay, we will wait for you to discuss, a Wind Moon Sect elder said. Then, the Xianling Sect disciples split their sides from laughing. I remember that those Qinglin Sect disciples seemed to say that our sect only knows escaping techniques a while back? That's right. However, how can our sect's escaping techniques compare to Qinglin Sect's cheating techniques? Using Fu Lingtian, who is at the second heaven of martial qi level 2, to pretend to be at the third heaven of martial qi level 1, yet he ended up having his hand broken by junior sister Yi. I'm afraid that Qinglin Sect will not be able to learn the escaping techniques of our sect's junior sister Yi even if they wanted to. The Xianling Sect disciples were extremely disgruntled towards Qinglin Sect's ridicule previously but were freely mocking them now. On the other hand, the Qinglin Sect disciples lowered their heads, ashamed, not knowing what to say. Their arrogance and disdain were long gone by now, and all they felt was a burn on their faces. Not only did Fu Lingtian lose to Xianling Sect's Yi Qingtang, but Fu Lingtian was also revealed to be a powerful figure at the second heaven of martial qi level 1. The Wind Moon Sect disciples looked at Yi Qingtang in reverence. Not long later, the Qinglin Sect elders spoke after discussing. The sect in the first place this year is indeed Xianling Sect. Apart from losing this year's wagers to Xianling Sect, all the wagers we won last year will be returned to Xianling Sect and Wind Moon Sect in full amount. What do the two sects think? You all calculated really well. Without counting this year, Fu Lingtian has already been the champion for 3 years. If you all want to repay, it should at least be the wagers of the past 3 years and add another year's wager as our compensations. Elder Qin said mightily. Chapter 439, Compensation 2. The champion for this year was Yi Qingtang, and Qinglin Sect naturally lost their wagers to Xianling Sect. However, Fu Lingtian competed for 3 years consecutively and took 3 years' worth of rewards. How could Qinglin Sect be allowed to act so perfunctorily? That's right. Wind Moon Sect feels the same as well. A Wind Moon Sect elder immediately echoed. Don't go too overboard. A Qinglin Sect elder frowned. Overboard? A cold glint flashed across Elder Mo's eyes. This is giving you face. You all. Seeing how Wind Moon Sect and Xianling Sect refused to comply, the Qinglin Sect elders' faces darkened, yet they could not back down in the current situation. If they denied, Qinglin's sect would probably no longer have any face in the future, and the sect's glory would be greatly affected. Alright, Qinglin's sect will repay as you all said. The Qinglin sect elder clenched and gritted his teeth as though he was butchering meat. It was indeed them, Qinglin sect, who was in the wrong in this incident. No one would have expected Fu Lingtian to actually conceal his skills, and they could only comply, especially in face of the simultaneous coercion of Wind Moon sect and Xianling sect. Apart from this, Elder Mo said indifferently, "You must compensate my disciple, Yi Qingtang, one mind and heart pill." What? The Qinglin sect elder was stunned to hear Elder Mo. The mind and heart pill was a specialty of Qinglin sect which had vastly small quantities and was usually rewarded to Qinglin sect's chief disciple each year. The mind and heart pill could allow a martial qi level 1 cultivator to advance by a small stage and had great benefits even for a powerful figure at martial qi level 2. Nevertheless, the mind and heart pill was extremely precious, and Qinglin sect never produced more than 3 a year. What a joke! Why would our sect need to compensate your disciple? The Qinglin sect elder hollered. Elder Mo sneered. Fu Lingxian's second heaven of martial qi level 2 skills have injured my disciple. Don't you ought to use one mind and heart pill as compensation? Injured your disciple? The few Qinglin sect elders stared blankly. Did he really treat them as idiots? Yi Qingtang crushed Fu Lingxian's knuckles on the ring and tortured Fu Lingtian in every possible way. And when Fu Lingtian displayed his second heaven martial qi level 2 skills, Elder Mo stepped in time to stop Fu Lingtian. How was his disciple, Yi Qingtang, injured? Then, Elder Mo looked at Yi Qingtang and asked, "Qingtang, how do you feel?" "Master, my inner qi is not stable while my vital energy and blood are churning. I should be injured from the imposing air of Fu Lingxian's stage 2 of second heaven. I'm afraid the foundation of my martial skills is affected," Yi Qingtang said, extremely weakly, while even putting on a fatigued expression on her face. "Oh, if that's the case, one mind and heart pill shouldn't be enough." Elder Mo looked at Yi Qingtang's weak appearance and frowned slightly. Yi Qingtang sighed. "Master, our Xianling sect is reasonable. As the saying goes, we should be easy on people. Moreover, Master has already told them to compensate one mind and heart pill. Our sect keeps true to our words." Very well," Elder Mo nodded and said. "One mind and heart pill it is then." Watching how this pair of master and disciple echoed after each other, the Qinglin sect elders snickered in fury. Yi Qingtang had a ruddy expression and was full of vital essence. How did she look injured? Yet, whatever she said made it actually seem that they, Qinglin sect, had a bargain. Chapter 440, Compensation, 3. Don't talk amongst yourselves. Let Wind Moon sect be the judge. The Qinglin sect waved a hand while his chest was in pain from anger. Qinglin sect had already agreed to the compensation. Once Wind Moon sect obtained the compensation, they would definitely not continue to make things difficult for Qinglin sect. As long as Wind Moon sect said something now and made their stand clear, Qinglin sect would definitely not be given out. I think that Yi Qingtang did suffer injustice. Someone at second heaven of martial qi level 2 was not supposed to appear at the 3-sect competition in the first place. Now that this Yi girl was injured by Fu Lingtian, there is nothing wrong for Qinglin sect to compensate one mind and heart pill, the Wind Moon sect elder said with a smile. Elder Dust's words are justified. Don't be so petty, Qinglin sect. The Yi girl isn't making a fuss about it already. So what if you compensate one mind and heart pill? Would your skin fall off from compensating it? Another Wind Moon sect elder laughed. While Qinglin sect cheated in the competition, they had already agreed to compensate Wind Moon sect, which they were on friendly terms with, and Wind Moon sect should originally speak for Qinglin sect. However, if not for Yi Qingtang, Wind Moon sect would never know that Fu Lingtian was at the second heaven of martial qi level 2 and even more so would not receive any compensation. Moreover, Yi Qingtang was Elder Mo's disciple, and Qinglin sect was indeed in the wrong this time. There was no need to offend Xianling sect and Elder Mo over this matter. The Wind Moon sect elders were very shrewd. Just from Yi Qingtang's performance, They knew that she was not an ordinary girl and would definitely shine one day in the future if there were no critical accidents. By speaking for Yi Qingtang today, she would remember something good about Wind Moon Sect when she was accomplished in the future. The words of the Wind Moon Sect's elders truly left the Qinglin Sect elders dumbfounded. They never thought that Wind Moon Sect, which was on the fence, would speak for Xianling Sect, although they had already agreed to the compensation. "There's no problem already," Elder Mo said without emotions after seeing how Wind Moon Sect was so cooperative. Qinglin Sect requested Wind Moon Sect to speak, and with it leaned towards Xianling Sect now, Qinglin Sect could only hold in their fury helplessly. Humph! A certain Qinglin Sect elder snorted coldly before taking out a mind and heart pill and throwing it to Elder Mo. This mind and heart pill was originally planned to be a reward for Fu Lingtian after he won the first place, which was why the elder carried it around with him. Who would have expected that it would be taken away by Xianling Sect today? "They'll give you the mind and heart pill to you first. As for the compensation, someone will pass it to both Xianling Sect and Wind Moon Sect in half a month." Afterward, that Qinglin Sect elder glared at Fu Lingtian fiercely. "Go!" The Qinglin Sect elders no longer had any patience to remain there any longer and brought their disciples away. "Yiqing, you will regret." A cold glint shone in Fu Lingtian's eyes. As he turned around and left, he swore in his heart to definitely make this girl have a taste of the most painful torture there was in the world. "Take care. Well, not send you off already." Yi Qingtang waved with a grin. Because of Fu Lingtian, Qinglin Sect naturally lost the rights to cultivate in Drifting Cloud Island this year, which really gave the Wind Moon Sect disciples an advantage. "Ha! Elder Mo, you really know how to hide. You accepted such a talented disciple but hid it from us so well." The Wind Moon Sect elder walked up and laughed. "My inferior disciple is still not skilled. There's naturally nothing to show off about." Elder Mo replied. While he said that, the Wind Moon Sect elder saw a hint of pride that bolted in Elder Mo's eyes. Chapter 441, Breakthrough 1. For sect elders like them, being able to produce a talented disciple was something they would be more pleased than obtaining a divine weapon, and they would take pride in their disciples. Evidently, Elder Mo was this way as well right now. "Elders have overpraised me. Master has taught me too many things, and I've only learned a few things on the surface." Yi Qingtang smiled as she cupped her fists. At that, the Wind Moon Sect elders had an amazed expression. "Elder Mo, if only those commonplace disciples of mine were half as good as your disciple, I would be content." "Elder Mo, I really could not tell that you had such techniques. You must not be stingy to share with us your insights on teaching disciples." Another Wind Moon Sect elder chimed in. After he heard that, a rare smile broke out on Elder Mo's icy cold face. "If there's a chance, you all can visit our sect and let this commonplace disciple of mine practice together with your disciples. There's no harm for them to learn from each other. What do you think, Qingtang?" "I will naturally follow your orders, Master," Yi Qingtang replied. "Ha, sure. You said this yourself, Elder Mo. If we are free sometime soon, we will definitely head to your sect." The Wind Moon Sect elder nodded with a laugh. The Wind Moon Sect elders showered Yi Qingtang with praises generously, and Elder Mo's face was naturally glowing. After Zhu Chang's defeat, Elder Lin, who had not said anything all the while, had a very astonished expression on his face at this moment. He was originally full of confidence in Zhu Chang's match, yet unexpectedly, Zhu Chang'e still lost, and it was rather Yi Qingtang, whom he had never thought highly of, who amazed everyone with one brilliant performance. As Yi Qingtang's master, Elder Mo also gained some reputation. How could Elder Lin be happy? No one sensed Elder Lin's thoughts. After exchanging civilities, the elders of both sects brought their sects back to their area of residence. The disciples who were to remain in Drifting Cloud Island to cultivate this time had already been fixed. They were Yi Qingtang and Zhu Chang'e from Xianling Sect, while the Wind Moon Sect elders decided for Feng Yuran to stay behind. As for the slots for other disciples, the sects would make another selection when they returned to their sects, where the chosen few would be sent to cultivate on Drifting Cloud Island half a year later. Then, Zhu Chang'e was extremely grateful towards Yi Qingtang. If not for Yi Qingtang, he simply would not have any fate with the cultivation rights on Drifting Cloud Island this year. And because of Yi Qingtang, he earned a slot for nothing. Temporary residence of Xianling sect. Elder Mo looked at Yi Qingtang beside her and placed the mind and heart pill from Qinglin's sect into her hands. Qingtang, although this mind and heart pill can allow a martial qi level 1 cultivator to stably improve by a small stage and be used to advance to martial qi level 2, it is not realistic. A few years later, when your skills reach martial qi level 2, it will be the best time to use this. Elder Mo explained. From Elder Mo's point of view, no matter how fast Yi Qingtang's speed of cultivation was, it would require at least 3 to 4 years for her to make a breakthrough to martial qi level 2 with her endowments. Using the mind and heart pill right now was extremely wasteful. Thank you, Master. They'll remember it. Yi Qingtang nodded firmly and smiled. However, with this mind and heart pill, Yi Qingtang was confident. One night was enough for her to break through to martial qi level 2. As Elder Mo watched Yi Qingtang leave, he let out a long sigh. If Yi Qingtang had a higher grade spirit root, he would have believed that she could break through to martial qi level 2 in at most a year. Nonetheless, Yi Qingtang's spirit root would not do, and she might not even reach martial qi level 2 even in 3 to 4 years. Chapter 442, Breakthrough 2. After returning to her room, Yi Qingtang held her breath in deep concentration and placed the mind and heart pill into her mouth. The mind and heart pill dissolved the moment it entered her mouth, and a searing breath entered her meridians immediately. Yi Qingtang closed her eyes and felt the flow of the inner qi in her body. The inner qi was like an ocean while her body was a dry desert which absorbed everything in a second. The effect of the mind and heart pill was shocking and was the best for cultivators at martial qi level 1. Usually, normal cultivators would require at least more than 1 month to fully absorb the effects of the mind and heart pill. However, Yi Qingtang had the heart of the demon god. Using it as a carrier, her initial calculations were that it would only require a few hours for the full effects of the mind and heart pill to be absorbed. One night and I will be able to make a breakthrough to martial qi level 2, Yi Qingtang considered internally. She was already not far away from martial qi level 2, and with this mind and heart pill now, the speed of her breakthrough would increase as if given help from heaven. Time passed. It seemed like the blink of an eye, yet also an entire century. Suddenly, there was a thunder in the sky above where Yi Qingtang's residence and spirit energy escalated rapidly as though it was forming a nation of spirit energy. All of the Xianling sect and Wind Moon sect people were alarmed. Someone is about to break through to martial qi level 2? A Wind Moon sect elder walked out from his room and looked in the direction of Xianling sect's residence in astonishment. It was impossible to be an elder as every sect elder was above martial qi level 2. Someone is Xianling sect is actually breaking through to martial qi level 2. Who is that? Another Wind Moon sect elder asked, astounded. Judging by that direction, that disciple of Elder Mo. On Xianling sect's side, Elder Qin was the first to be alarmed while Elder Mo was a step later. Both of them exited their rooms and scanned the sky. There's actually a disciple from our sect who is about to break through to martial qi level 2? Elder Qin asked, extremely surprised. This intensity of spirit energy, Elder Mo was astounded. For normal cultivators, there would also be a condensation of spirit energy when breaking through to martial qi level 2 from martial qi level 1. However, the intensity of the condensation of spirit energy was more than double of normal cultivators. Even when Elder Mo made a breakthrough back then, the intensity of the spirit energy was far less than it was currently. Which disciple is it? Elder Mo had a look of confusion. Yi Qingtang. Elder Qin pointed to not far away. Qingtang. Elder Mo looked at where Yi Qingtang was staying in, and there was spirit energy lingering around it as though there was a nation of spirit energy. The rich spirit energy rushed into Yi Qingtang's room like surging waves. She is charging towards martial qi level 2. Elder Mo's eyes dilated abruptly. That's right. And looking at the intensity of the spirit energy, your precious disciple is about to succeed, Elder Qin said. Protect Qingtang. Expressions of shock were written all over Elder Mo's face as he subsequently flew above Yi Qingtang's room. A cultivator must not be disrupted when charging towards a realm. Once it was stopped, the consequences would be dire. Okay. Elder Qin nodded and flew into the void, standing beside Elder Mo. An hour later, all the spirit energy in the void was completely absorbed by Yi Qingtang. Martial Qi Level 2. In the room, Yi Qingtang sat cross-legged at her bedside as the corners of her lips tugged up slightly. Martial Qi Level 2. Second Heaven. Even Yi Qingtang herself did not expect that all the spirit energy in the void would be absorbed by the heart of the demon god, which acted as a carrier, without missing a tiny bit. And exactly because of the heart of the demon god, not only did she succeed in charging towards Martial Qi Level 2 in a few hours, she even advanced by 2 small realms and directly rose to the second heaven of Martial Qi Level 2. Chapter 443. Breakthrough 3. Initially, Elder Mo wanted to reproach Yi Qingtang for playing around. Without enough cultivation background, forcefully charging towards Martial Qi Level 2 from the third heaven of Martial Qi Level 1 would result in one being swallowed by their mental demons and have dire consequences should they fail. Once, a disciple whom Elder Mo doted on the most wanted to break through to Martial Qi Level 2 but forcefully charged towards the realm without enough cultivation. Ultimately, the disciple's inner qi reversed, and he died on the spot. To now, Elder Mo was unable to forget how his disciple died tragically. However, looking at how Yi Qingtang's breathing was controlled, Elder Mo was deeply astonished, and the words that he wanted to lash out at her were no longer able to leave his mouth. Martial Qi Level 2. Second Heaven. Elder Mo was utterly dumbfounded on the spot in disbelief. When normal cultivators succeeded in charging towards a higher realm, they would at most advance from the third heaven of Martial Qi Level 1 to the first heaven of Martial Qi Level 2. However, Yi Qingtang surpassed his purview. Not only was she successful in charging towards a new realm, she even advanced to the second heaven of Martial Qi Level 2. Then, Elder Lin walked out of his room as well, and an expression of shock filled his face as he saw Yi Qingtang from not far away. Rapidly, Elder Lin's eyes were slightly gloomy. Yi Qingtang had already entered the second heaven of Martial Qi Level 2 currently, and she could even be able to have a battle with the chief disciple of Xianling sect. Qingtang, come over here. Elder Mo waved at Yi Qingtang. After hearing that, Yi Qingtang nodded and walked to Elder Mo's side. It really is the second heaven of Martial Qi Level 2. Elder Mo's eyes twinkled, and the disbelief on his face turned into an inexplicable delight. Qingtang, it is really my blessing to have such a disciple like you. Elder Mo finally uttered with a sigh after a long while. What are you saying about Master? If you hadn't fought for a mind and heart pill for me, I would not be able to break through so easily. Yi Qingtang chuckled. Elder Mo shook his head with a laugh. While the mind and heart pill was precious, it was not like what Yi Qingtang said. If there could be such a miracle by relying on just one mind and heart pill, Qinglin sect's current skills would probably have exceeded that of Yunxiao sect's long ago. Qingtang, you just made a breakthrough. Do rest well and consolidate your cultivation. After a long while, Elder Mo looked at Yi Qingtang with eyes full of adoration. In the room, Yi Qingtang sat on the floor. The inner qi in her body gradually turned into primordial qi. The body of a cultivator at the first heaven of Martial Qi Level 1 had inner qi of which nature would change into primordial qi once the cultivator reached Martial Qi Level 2. While there was only a difference in one word between inner qi and primordial qi, there was a world of differences. Inner qi could only be used to kill enemies while primordial qi could be transformed into armies and even form a primordial qi wing for the cultivator travel in the air. All of this was unable to be done with inner qi. Since I've entered Martial Qi Level 2, I can use the feather formation technique already, Yi Qingtang mumbled. Feather formation technique was a remarkable skill Yi Qingtang learned in her previous life, which used the primordial qi to create a pair of wings. Swiftly, the power of the primordial qi flowed out of her body, and a huge pair of wings instantly appeared on her back. The wings flapped slightly, and a hurricane ensued in the room. At the same time, Yi Qingtang's eyes flickered. She flapped her primordial chi wings and extinguished the oil lamp in the room. About a few breaths later, the door of the room opened with a squeak. "It's him." Yi Qingtang hid in a secret corner and observed the uninvited guest. Yi Qingtang did not expect Fu Lingtian to have such audacity to take her life without hesitating to intrude into Xianling Sec's area. Ha! A sinister laugh broke out in the darkness. "Do you think you'll be fine as long as you hide?" Chapter 444. Lying 1. Fu Lingtian suddenly raised his right arm and slammed the beam of the roof. In a moment, an extremely strong force of primordial qi crashed into the room like strong waves. Then, Yi Qingtang landed on the ground from the roof like an agile butterfly and avoided Fu Lingtian's attack. "Fu Lingtian, how bold of you to intrude into Xianling Sec's area of residence. Are you not afraid of alarming the elders?" Yi Qingtang scoffed. "Xianling sect?" Fu Lingtian's lips curled up slightly into a cold sneer. "What is Xianling sect? How can it be compared to my Yunxiao sect?" Yi Qingtang narrowed her eyes when Fu Lingtian finished his sentence. Fu Lingtian actually mentioned Yunxiao sect in front of her forthrightly. It seemed that he no longer intended to conceal anymore. "Yi Qingtang, you are a mere disciple of a small sect and only have the cultivation of the third heaven of martial qi level 1. However, you deliberately forced me to reveal my true state of cultivation on the ring today. I'm afraid you must know something." A cold glint twinkled in Fu Lingtian's eyes. Previously, Yu had warned that once he revealed his true skills in front of the three sects, he would definitely be heavily punished by the sect. Fu Lingtian kept it in mind and was very cautious during the competition. He was forced to reveal his true skills because of Yi Qingtang today, and the sect would definitely not forgive him. Whichever route he had spelled death, and naturally he would not let Yi Qingtang off. "Fu Lingtian, you barged into my room in the night. Could it be that it is to ask me if I know about anything?" Yi Qingtang was unconcerned. "You reminded me." Fu Lingtian walked towards Yi Qingtang slowly and said, "Everything is no longer important. Today, I will kill you first." Then, the imposing air of the second heaven of martial qi level 2 spread in the room, which shrouded and trapped Yi Qingtang. "Aren't you very nimble? Go on and flee." There was a cruelly playful expression on Fu Lingtian's face. "Senior brother Fu, I'm wrong. Please spare my life." Looking at the murderous Fu Lingtian, a strange look flashed across her eyes, though fear was etched on her face. "Ah, it's a pity that's a little too late." Fu Lingtian scoffed and immediately slammed a hand towards Yi Qingtang. Fu Lingtian's slap possessed a large force of primordial qi, which contained the air of destruction. Even a person at the first heaven of martial qi level 2 would die without a doubt under this attack. This girl brought so much trouble to him, and he already intended to kill her long ago. Thus, he no longer had any reservations using the skills of the second heaven of martial qi level 2. However, Yi Qingtang stretched a hand out and immediately stopped Fu Lingtian's left palm. In an instant, the fear on Yi Qingtang's face faded, and her lips tugged up and formed into a devilish smile. "I was lying, you." Fu Lingtian was astonished. There was the force of primordial qi around Yi Qingtang. Martial qi level 2. Second heaven? Fu Lingtian was in utter disbelief. Why was the attainment of this Yi Qingtang of Xianling sect the same as his in just a few hours? "You actually hid your skills as well." Fu Lingtian clenched his teeth tightly. He naturally would not believe that Yi Qingtang just made a breakthrough, and he thought that she was also at the second heaven of martial qi level 2 but suppressed her skills as he did. "Senior brother Fu, how are you going to take my life now?" Yi Qingtang smiled. Fu Lingtian was outraged, and the force of his primordial qi escalated to the maximum. He immediately broke free from Yi Qingtang's restraint and turned around in an attempt to escape. Chapter 445. Lying 2. "Senior brother Fu, how are you going to take my life now?" Yi Qingtang smiled. Fu Lingtian was outraged, and the force of his primordial qi escalated to the maximum. He immediately broke free from Yi Qingtang's hold and turned around in an attempt to escape. Then Fu Lingtian was already aware that Yi Qingtang was at second heaven of martial qi level 2. Even if he could kill her, it would cause a stirring, and the Xianling sect people would definitely be alerted since this was Xianling sect's area of residence. Yi Qingtang's speed was originally swift. Now, after breaking through to the second heaven of martial qi level 2, her skills had increased multiple folds, and her speed was all the more incomparable to before. In the blink of an eye, Yi Qingtang had already blocked Fu Lingtian's way. Want to escape? Yi Qingtang let out a cold laugh. Just stay since you're already here. Then Yi Qingtang gathered all the force of her primordial qi into her fingers. With the pointing of a finger, a piercing sound lingered in one's ears as though the air was still. Fu Lingtian was startled after feeling the force of Yi Qingtang's one finger. He originally wanted to leave, but Yi Qingtang's finger was pointed very brilliantly as it sealed his route of retreat and rendered him to have no way of escape. In a moment of desperation, Fu Lingtian launched a lousy attack, but the speed of Yi Qingtang's finger was too fast, and Fu Lingtian was too late. Boom! This finger fiercely landed on Fu Lingtian's chest. In the next second, a shrill scream escaped Fu Lingtian's mouth. His entire body floated in the sky and was flung out of the room like a kite with a snapped string. Yi Qingtang chased after, but before she attacked again, Elder Mo suddenly appeared. What audacity! There was a cold glint twinkling in Elder Mo's eyes as he slammed his palm against Fu Lingtian. Ow! Fu Lingtian was already injured by Yi Qingtang and was now attacked by Elder Mo, who suddenly appeared. After sustaining another injury on top of his previous injuries, his face paled, and blood spurted out of his mouth. Young one, how dare you intrude into my Xianling sect's area of residence and attack my disciple in secret? Elder Mo grabbed Fu Lingtian's collar, lifting him in midair. Yi Qingtang had just advanced to martial qi level 2 not long ago, and Elder Mo had been guarding in the vicinity. After hearing some unusual noise from Yi Qingtang's room, Elder Mo immediately rushed over. Very quickly, Elder Mo and Elder Lin appeared as well. Fu Lingtian from Qinglin sect? What's going on? Elder Qin's brows were tightly furrowed. This bastard intruded Qingtang's room with evil designs, Elder Mo said coldly. What? Elder Qin was shocked. Then he shot a furious glare and pointed at Fu Lingtian. How bold of you to do anything to satisfy your lust. Yi Qingtang's lips twitched upon hearing that. He was here to kill her all right? Elder Qin, Fu Lingtian, is here to kill me. Yi Qingtang explained. Elder Qin was stunned and instantly understood the situation. Awkwardness filled his face. Elder Mo, you should speak more clearly. Evil designs can cause misunderstanding. Elder Qin coughed lightly to cover up his embarrassment. Elder Mo did not bother with Elder Qin as he gripped Fu Lingtian's throat. Speak. Did Qinglin sect instruct you to do this? Then, Fu Lingtian's face was flushed, and he had difficulty in breathing. Are you not speaking? Elder Mo's expression darkened. Elder Mo, you're strangling his throat. How is he to talk? Elder Qin reminded. Humph. Elder Mo lifted his right arm and threw Fu Lingtian on the floor. Oh, this bunch of old things. Fu Lingtian looked at the elders. Do you have a death wish? Elder Mo was filled with murderous intent. Chapter 446, Lying, 3, Ha! However, Fu Lingtian crackled in disdain. I am a Yunshao sect disciple. Do you all dare to lay a finger on me? Yunshao sect. Elder Lin was startled. Aren't you a Qinglin sect disciple? How did you become a Yunshao sect disciple? Yunshao sect was at its peak and was the rich and powerful sect. Their history could even be traced to thousands of years ago. They had a deep-seated background and was not what the three sects could compare to. Ha! Fu Lingtian scoffed. There are too many things you all don't know. In the eyes of Yunshao sect, you all are merely a slaughterhouse. If you don't say it clearly, you will be torn into pieces tonight. Elder Mo ordered coldly. Ha! How pitiful! Fu Lingtian shook his head and continued. Xianling sect, Qinglin sect, Wen Moon sect. these are all slaughterhouses to feed the spirit roots of Yunshao sect disciples. However, what can you do even if you all know about this? You're saying that Yunshao sect knows a technique to swallow spirit roots? Elder Lin seemed to be deep in thought. Don't bullshit any longer. I advise you all to release me immediately. Otherwise, angering my Yunshao sect, your Xianling sect would definitely be exterminated. Fu Lingtian said mightily. Exterminated? Then, a glint flashed in Yi Qingtang's eyes. Some past events that were almost forgotten floated in her mind immediately. In her previous life, she had once cultivated in Xianling sect. A long time after leaving the sect, she happened to hear that Xianling sect was exterminated in a night. The Grand Elder Qin. All the higher-ups of Xianling sect were killed, and Xianling sect vanished from then on. In her previous lifetime, Yi Qingtang did not have any feelings towards Xianling sect, and even when she heard rumors of Xianling sect's extermination, she did not feel anything. Even more so, that period of time was almost forgotten. However, it was no longer the same after her rebirth. Unknowingly, Xianling sect had found a way into her heart. There were too many things that she could not break off from the sect. Master Elder Mo, Elder Qin, those fellow disciples whom she was close to. Thinking about it carefully now, the only force in the area which could wipe out Xianling sect without a sound was the powerful Yunshao sect. Ha! There are Yunshao sect disciples hiding in your Xianling sect as well. Yi Qingtang returned to her senses and heard Fu Lingtian. Who is it? Elder Mo roared sternly. Who is it? Fu Lingtian scoffed. So what if you all know? Could it be that you all dare to touch a Yunshao sect disciple? Fu Lingtian was aware that Yunshao sect would definitely not forgive him after he displayed his true skills. Now, he no longer had any fears, and all the more, there was nothing he was afraid to say. If you don't say it, they'll take your life. Elder Mo assumed a posture in preparation to attack. Wait! Suddenly, Elder Lin walked forward and stopped Elder Mo. Elder Mo, we must investigate this matter clearly. If he really is a Yunshao sect disciple, we must not touch him at all. Elder Lin said. This time, Elder Qin agreed with Elder Lin. Fu Lingtian only said that he was a Yunshao sect disciple, but there was no concrete evidence. Moreover, this matter implicated too many things, and any decisions could only be made after investigating clearly. Alright, this matter cannot be delayed. They'll bring him back to the sect first and report this matter to the Grand Elder and Sect Master. Elder Mo said, Okay. Yi Qingtang nodded her head in agreement. Subsequently, Elder Mo grabbed Fu Lingtian and flew into the sky, disappearing without a trace. Chapter 447. Worries? 1. In the room, Yi Qingtang's slightly furrowed brows never relaxed. That day when Yi Yu and Fu Lingtian met, they vaguely mentioned that there was someone from Yunshao sect in Xianling sect, and Fu Lingtian mentioned this again today. Yi Qingtang believed that this was definitely related to the extermination of Xianling sect in her previous life. Could it be that Yi Qingtang's expression changed slightly? Given Yunshao sect's prestige, it would never allow a scandal to be brought to light. If Xianling sect discovered that there was a Yunshao sect disciple hidden in the sect, Yunshao sect would definitely exterminate Xianling sect to prevent this matter from being revealed to the public. In Yi Qingtang's previous life, Xianling sect's extermination happened about a few years later. However, this time, because of Fu Lingtian, perhaps, it was accelerated. If Fu Lingtian did not reveal his true cultivation level in the 3-sect competition this year, he would not resent her so much to even intrude into her room and attempt to kill her. After Fu Lingtian's skills were exposed, Yunshao sect would definitely not let him off. Suddenly, Yi Qingtang's expression changed. Fu Lingtian deliberately saying that there was also a Yunshao sect disciple in Xianling sect, must be because he wanted to drag Xianling sect down. Once Xianling sect found out who the hidden disciple was, Yunshao sect would definitely wipe out Xianling sect with wrath. Yunshao sect was one of the influential sects at their peak in the formidable Heavens dynasty. To the 3 sects, it was a colossus, a heavenly mountain that was impossible to surmount. In the room, Yi Qingtang's brows frowned tightly. If everything developed according to her guesses, Xianling's sex extermination was already accelerated unknowingly. I need to have my martial arts skills break through to Yin Yang True Lord. Otherwise, there's no way it can be prevented. Yi Qingtang shut her eyes and was deep in thought. The so-called Yin Yang True Lord was the realm after martial qi level 3. Since ancient times, the martial way had been divided into 10 realms. Martial qi level 1, martial qi level 2, martial qi level 3, Yin Yang True Lord, Arcane Supremacy, Heavenly Venerate, Paragon, Divine Lord, Divine Emperor, and Immortal Emperor. On this extremely remote mainland, mighty figures at their peak were only at Yin Yang True Lord because of the backward martial culture and the insufficient spirit energy. Any realm after Yin Yang True Lord had never appeared on this mainland since thousands of years ago. This world was actually formed by a vast ocean and was coined as the mortal world. In the primordial mortal world, there were no islands or land and only an ocean where the primordial human civilization lived at the bottom of the sea. However, tens of thousands of years later, the primordial humans were tired of living in the sea and scattered sacred objects around the ocean, which formed into islands of different sizes. After attaining the Paragon realm in her previous life, Yi Qingtang's horizon was widened, and she knew a total of thousands of islands. Every island was a mainland in the present day. These islands were later divided into 3 big domains: Blue Sky Domain, Mixed Heavens Holy Domain, and Divine Venerate Domain. Amongst the 3, there were the least islands in Blue Sky Domain, and its martial culture could not be compared to that of Mixed Heavens Holy Domain and Divine Venerate Domain. 100 years later in her previous life, Yi Qingtang once headed to the Mixed Heavens Holy Domain and was shocked by its martial culture. The skills of the most ordinary sect disciples in Mixed Heavens Holy Domain were far above that of a Yin Yang True Lord. Even a high-level arcane supremacy was very common in Mixed Heavens Holy Domain. To give an example, if any random ordinary sect disciple in Mixed Heavens Holy Domain came to this mainland, they could easily destroy a colossal Yunshao sect just by lifting a hand. Chapter 448. Worries, 2. As for Divine Venerate Domain, it was too far away from the Blue Sky Domain, and there were tempests surrounding it which even a mighty paragon would be torn into pieces by the violent storm should they be slightly careless. Hence, Yi Qingtang never had the chance to take a look at that domain in her previous life. Nevertheless, there were many legends about the Divine Venerate Domain. It was said that the Divine Venerate Domain was the peak domain in the world. Hundreds of primordial clans were in it, and humans were the weakest forces. Despite that, the martial skills of the weakest human clan disciple in the Divine Venerate was at least at a paragon level. Presently, Yi Qingtang was in the weakest and smallest domain out of the 3 big domains, Blue Sky Domain. There were hundreds of islands in the Blue Sky Domain, and each island was a mainland. The bigger the island, the more flourishing the martial culture was. The mainland that Yi Qingtang was in was only the tip of the iceberg on Blue Sky Domain. Relatively speaking, this mainland was extremely small, and its martial culture was immensely underdeveloped. Martial Qi Level 3 was almost the peak of one's martial skills on this mainland, while the number of powerful figures at Yin Yang True Lord was so few that it could be counted with one hand. The backward martial culture was closely related to the insufficient spirit energy on this mainland. In this thin spirit energy, it was already a miracle for Yi Qingtang to successively advance to the second heaven of martial Qi Level 2 in a night. If Yi Qingtang wanted to prevent the extermination of the sect this time, her cultivation must at least reach the state of a Yin Yang True Lord. Yin Yang True Lord was the attainment after martial Qi Level 3, and it was extremely rare for this mainland to have a cultivator of such attainment. It was simply unrealistic for Yi Qingtang to achieve it in a short amount of time. A long while later, Yi Qingtang opened her eyes and walked out from the memories of her previous life. After her rebirth, she no longer had the powers of a paragon, and the current her was only at second heaven of martial Qi Level 2. Stopping Yunshao sect with an attainment of martial Qi Level 2 was no different from a fantasy. According to the knowledge from her previous life, almost all the higher-ups in the sect were killed when the sect was wiped out, with all of them losing their lives in the battle. while most of those unyielding sect disciples who fought courageously were massacred by Yunshao sect? What must I do to change Xianling sect's fate? Yi Qingtang sighed lightly. There was a total of 2 dynasties on this mainland, which were Nine Knights Dynasty and Formidable Heavens Dynasty. Sects like Xianling sect were rooted in the Formidable Heavens Dynasty, with Yunshao sect being one of the most powerful sections. The Nine Knights Dynasty and Formidable Heavens Dynasty were arch-enemies, and both had been in hundreds of battles with each other in the past 1,000 years. In the Formidable Heavens Dynasty, there were powerful forces which could compete with Yunshao sect, and one of them was the Falling Sky Valley. Because of Yi Qingtang was ultimately hunted down for her life by Yunshao sect in her previous life. There was nowhere to turn for help, and she was forced to hide in Nine Knights Dynasty, where she was rescued by the master of a valley division in Falling Sky Valley who was known as Perfected Xianxin. Yunshao sect did not dare to remain in the Nine Knights Dynasty for long, or even more so fight with the Falling Sky Valley on Nine Knights Dynasty's territory, and thus could only return. From then on, Yi Qingtang remained in Falling Sky Valley. Regardless of her previous or present life, Yi Qingtang's feelings towards Falling Sky Valley could not be cut off. Her master, Perfected Xianxin, as well as her senior brothers and sisters, and that dirty black dog behind the mountain which only knew how to speak the human language. At this moment, Yi Qingtang was lost in her painful memories. In the eruption of the war between Nine Knights Dynasty and Formidable Heavens Dynasty, the internal corruption of the Nine Knights Dynasty resulted in the Formidable Heavens Dynasty's great victory, where Yunshao sect and other influential sects charged into the Nine Knights Dynasty. Chapter 449 Spirit Life Flower 1. Because of the revelation of the heart of the demon god in her previous life, Yi Qingtang could only leave Xianling sect. Yet, Elder Lin, who heard the news a long time ago, ambushed her. If Yun Shu had not saved her, she would probably have died then. After escaping from Elder Lin's hands, she concealed her true identity and stepped into Falling Sky Valley after many twists and turns. In her previous life, she originally thought that she could settle down in Falling Sky Valley, yet, in the eruption of the war between Nine Knights Dynasty and Formidable Heavens Dynasty, the internal corruption of the Nine Knights Dynasty resulted in the Formidable Heavens Dynasty's great victory, where Yunshao sect and other influential sects charged into the Nine Knights Dynasty. In order to protect Yi Qingtang, Perfected Xianxin was involved in a bloody battle with Yunshao sect and killed the sect master of Yunshao sect as well as several elders with his own force. However, because his energy was depleted, Yi's sneak attack using the poison of a venomous insect was successful, and he was poisoned to death. Yi Qingtang would never forget the scene where her fellow disciples fought with their lives. That day became a hell with corpses laying all over. A cold glint shot across Yi Qingtang's eyes, and the aura of her realm exuded around her. I will never let the tragedy repeat again, be it Xianling sect or Falling Sky Valley. With a whiz, Yi Qingtang stood up. After her rebirth, she was finally overflowing with desire for power. Only with power could she be able to change it. Only by becoming stronger could she turn things around and fight with the heavens. In her previous life, the heavens let her spirit root be stolen, let Nine Knights Dynasty be tragically defeated, and let Falling Sky Valley be annihilated because of the combined forces of influential sects. Now that Yi Qingtang was reborn, how could she watch history's tragedy replay itself before her eyes? If that was the case, what was the use of her rebirth? What was the point of her living in the world? I, Yi Qingning, vow that from now on, Yi Qingting clenched her fists, and a cold glint shone in her eyes. If anyone blocks me, I will kill them. If gods hinder me, I will massacre them. If the heavens are heartless, I will go against the heavens. Everything in her heart was precious, and she would protect them from then on. Those who wanted to steal anything precious to her must become corpses under her feet. Yi Qingtang stood up instantly. Primordial chi was exuded, and a pair of snow-white wings appeared behind her back. While the spirit energy in Drifting Cloud Island was rich, she was already at martial chi level 2, and the spirit energy on the island was very limited to the increment in her skills. If she wanted to increase her skills as quickly as possible, she could only take the other path. Whiz! A piercing sound rang. Yi Qingtang flapped the huge wings behind her and flew towards the sky and into the clouds. In just the blink of an eye, there was no trace of her. A mountain valley at the north of formidable Heaven's dynasty. Yi Qingtang was currently in the air as her snow-white wings flapped. There was an open mountain valley below her where rivers intersected, and a dense forest surrounded it, making it seem like another world. Yi Qingtang scanned that mountain valley, and her eyes flickered slightly. There was a numinous treasure called the spirit life flower in this mountain valley. In the world, the number of items which could improve one's spirit root was very few. However, not only could the spirit life flower improve a cultivator's primordial qi, but it also had the benefit of cleansing one's spirit root. As long as this spirit life flower was used, even ordinary spirit roots could be improved. However, this spirit life root was extremely rare. Thus, there was almost no method of improving one's spirit root in the world. In her previous life, Yi Qingtang once heard that Yu somehow gained news that there was an immature spirit life flower here and ordered one of her trusted subordinates to guard here. Once the spirit life flower was ripe, it was to be plucked and brought back to Yu to improve her spirit root. Chapter 450, Spirit Life Flower, 1. This spirit life flower was effective in improving even ordinary spirit roots, and for Yi Qingtang's current spirit root, it would only be better. Presently, she had to obtain both this spirit life flower and the black heaven water. However, the Yunshao sect disciple guarding the spirit life flower here was rather skilled as well. Although Yi Qingtang knew it, she initially did not intend to take a risk and snatch it. Yet, she was forced by the situation. She faintly sensed a hint of danger from the revelation of Fu Lingshan's identity. She had to increase the realm of her martial skills in the shortest time possible. Otherwise, all her lofty sentiment and soaring determination would be nothing but empty talk. Between the clouds, Yi Qingtang looked at the area in the mountain valley which was the most abundant in spirit energy. A male who looked below 30 was guarding near a huge rock where the spirit life flower was growing at the top of the rock. According to Yi Qingtang's observations, the spirit life flower was already ripe, and the man had not plucked it probably because he felt that the effects would be better if it was a little riper. Yi Qingtang scanned that man whose cultivation was about martial qi level 3. Given Yi Qingtang's second heaven of martial qi level 2, it was a little too unrealistic to snatch the spirit life flower away from someone at martial qi level 3. Over the past 2 days, Yi Qingtang had remained here all along and did not return to Xianling sect. The spirit life flower was extremely effective to her. Before Xianling sect's mystic realm started, the spirit life flower was the only method she could think of which would raise her skills by the greatest extent. As the level of her skills moved higher, the speed of her improvement in skills would slow down. Yi Qingtang did not wish to miss this chance. However, that Yunshao sect disciple guarded by the rock over the past 2 days and never left a step, which made it hard for Yi Qingtang to make a move. If she stole it up front, she was not an opponent of that martial qi level 3 person given her current skills, and she would never do anything she had no confidence in. Nevertheless, Yi Qingtang never wasted any time while waiting for the opportunity as she consolidated her cultivation level in the clouds. Even in the earliest hours of the third morning, Yi Qingtang's eyes flickered as she looked straight ahead. Then, a middle-aged man about 40 years old walked towards the direction of Yi Qingtang. TSK, my luck is really good. There's actually such a beauty here in the wild. The middle-aged man looked at Yi Qingtang with a sinister laugh. Yi Qingtang glimpsed at the middle-aged man before her and was stunned. Yi Tianqiu. Yi Tianqiu was the number 9 on the sect's assassination roll. He committed countless wrongdoings in his life and liked to seek pleasure with girls from sections. It was said that Yi Tianqiu once intruded the residence of a prince in the formidable Heaven's imperial city and tainted one of the princesses in the night. From then on, not only were sects after his life, even the formidable Heaven's dynasty listed him as a wanted criminal where one would be heavily rewarded for bringing Yi Tianqiu's head. There were portraits of everyone on the assassination roll, and Yi Qingtang saw the face of Yi Tianqiu in Xianling sect's assassination roll gallery and thus recognized him instantly. Heh, Girl doll, what are you doing here? Yi Tianqiu walked to Yi Qingtang's side and beamed. Yi Qingtang frowned slightly and looked at Yi Tianqiu, who was harboring evil intentions. A glint flashed across her eyes suddenly as she immediately put on a frail expression and looked at him rather nervously. I'm a Xianling sect disciple. I was training outside and was injured by a demonic beast. I've not yet recovered now. Chapter 451 Spirit Life Flower 3. Upon hearing that, Yi Tianqiu's eyes flickered as he chuckled. So you're injured? Don't panic though. I can help to treat you. Really? Yi Qingtang looked at Yi Tianqiu in confusion with an innocent expression. Of course it's real. However, what benefits can you give me? Yi Tianqiu narrowed his eyes, and a malicious intention flashed across his eyes. One don't have any valuables or money on me as I lost all of them when I was being chased after by a demonic beast. Yi Qingtang uttered pitifully as though she did not see the evil intentions in Yi Tianqiu's eyes. I have plenty of money, and I don't like those. Yi Tianqiu's burning gaze scanned Yi Qingtang brazenly as he continued. How about, well, do some wonderful things together? Afterward, I'll treat your injuries. Wonderful things? Yi Qingtang looked at Yi Tianqiu in confusion. Haha, she's actually a virgin too. This luck of mine. Haha, Yi Tianqiu guffawed. Wonderful things obviously meant the thing between a male and a female. What? Yi Qingtang's expression changed immediately, and panic emerged on her face. She shook her head and said frantically, I don't want you to treat my injuries for me anymore. You're reading this at Wuxia World. Sight after hearing Yi Qingtang's words, all traces of a smile on Yi Tianqiu's face faded as he said coldly, Little beauty, this is not up to you. Haven't you seen my face in Xianling sect's assassination role? Don't you know who I am? Yi Qingtang deliberately inspected Yi Tianqiu carefully and acted as though she had just realized it now. You're Tianqiu. Tianqiu had a pleased expression on his face. Since you know me, you should be clear about my rules. If you obediently please me until I'm satisfied, I can still keep your corpse as a whole. Otherwise, I can only chop your head and use your body for pleasure. No. Beg you, please don't kill me. Yi Qingtang retreated backward, fearfully, although there was a sly smile at the bottom of her bright eyes. Haha. Yi Tianqiu licked his lips. I even killed the princess of Formidable Heaven's dynasty. Any beauty that I have my eyes on is already dead. However, before you die, you can always feel extreme happiness. I beg you, don't kill me. I can use the spirit life flower to exchange for my life. Yi Qingtang said. Spirit life flower? Yi Tianqiu was slightly taken aback then. He obviously was aware that the spirit life flower was a treasure nurtured by the heaven and earth and that it could increase the powers of one's primordial qi and even cleanse the spirit root. Every powerful figure knew how precious the spirit life flower was, and he had only heard about it in rumors but never seen it for himself before. You have the spirit life flower? Yi Tianqiu looked at Yi Qingtang in disbelief. The spirit life flower was a treasure that could be chanced upon but not sought after. How could the Xianling sect disciple before him have the spirit life flower? I don't have it. Yi Qingtang said. You're fooling me? Yi Tianqiu's expression darkened instantly. But I know where the spirit life flower is. In a spot in the mountain valley where the spirit energy is rich, a spirit life flower is growing there. I can bring you there. Yi Qingtang said immediately. After hearing her, Tianqiu was deep in thought for a moment and then nodded. All right, you'll bring me to take a look. However, if you dare to lie to me. Chapter 452, Spirit Life Flower 4. No, I will not lie to you. Yi Qingtang shook her head extremely earnestly. Tianqiu had Yi Qingtang walk at the front to lead the way. He was not afraid that the girl before him would play any tricks. Given his martial qi level 3 realm, he would not be afraid at all even if Xianling sect elders were here. Yi Qingtang walked in front while limping in pain, and her movement was not fast. About an hour later, Yi Qingtang brought Yi Tianqiu to a spot in the mountain valley. The spirit life flower is right there. Yi Qingtang raised her hand and pointed ahead of them. Yi Tianqiu looked in the direction that Yi Qingtang pointed at. There was a huge rock hundreds of meters away, and there was indeed a spirit life flower growing on the top of the huge rock. It really is the spirit life flower. Tianqiu was surprised. Very quickly, his surprised expression turned into that of burning desire. If he could obtain the spirit life flower, perhaps he could break through the bottleneck of his realm. At that point, Yi Tianqiu finally believed that this beauty never lied to him. Since you know there's a spirit life flower here, why don't you get it yourself? Yi Tianqiu asked carefully. Although he desired the preciousness of the spirit life flower, he was not a fool who advanced rashly. If it were an ordinary sect disciple, he or she would definitely snatch it away the moment he or she saw this treasure. How would they leave the baby there without doing anything? Someone is guarding it and he is very skilled. Yi Qingtang sensed Yi Tianqiu's caution and immediately explained honestly. Then Yi Tianqiu's brows were furrowed slightly as he scanned the area in front of them once again. Expectedly, a male around his 30s was guarding near the huge rock. It is merely a brat. Yi Tianqiu scoffed coldly and looked at Yi Qingtang. You will follow behind me. Once I obtain the spirit life flower, I'll let you go. However, if you dare to play any tricks, I will let you be in utter misery. Okay? Yi Qingtang nodded repeatedly. Looking at the bowtie's innocent appearance, Yi Tianqiu snickered in his heart. Regardless of whether he could obtain the spirit life flower today, this beauty would never be able to escape from his hands. At that moment, the Yunshao sect disciple who was guarding near the rock frowned and looked ahead. He saw a man and a girl walking towards him together. Get lost! That Yunshao sect disciple shouted coldly as he displayed his imposing air instantly. He was ordered by Senior Sister Yu to guard the spirit life flower here and not allow any living thing to come near it. TSK? Little chap, you're asking me to get lost. Yi Tianqiu looked at the Yunshao sect disciple and sneered. Yi Tianqiu. The Yunshao sect disciple was rather stunned after taking a clear look at the man's face. Yi Tianqiu was ranked 9 on the assassination roll, and he naturally saw a portrait of Yi Tianqiu as a Yunshao sect disciple. It was said that Yi Tianqiu's cultivation level was already at the perfected first heaven of martial qi level 3 and was only a half step away from entering the second heaven of martial qi level 3. However, in these 5 years, Yi Tianqiu's skills never advanced, and he had not made a breakthrough for a long time. Despite so, the Yunshao sect disciple did not dare to let down his guard. Tianqiu, do you know that I'm a Yunshao sect disciple? If you know what's the best for you, get lost from here quickly, the Yunshao sect disciple commanded coldly. Yunshao sect disciple, Yi Tianqiu suddenly let out a loud laugh. There are numerous female Yunshao sect disciples who were humiliated to death by me. It is said that when there are too many deaths, one stops worrying about them. Could it be that you don't understand this logic? Yunshao sect disciple, hand this spirit life flower to me and I'll let you live. How about that? Without waiting for the Yunshao sect disciple to say anything, Yi Tianqiu spoke again. Chapter 453. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. 1. The skills of this Yunshao sect disciple were indeed good and were similarly at first heaven of martial qi level 3. Yi Tianqiu knew that even if he could kill the Yunshao sect disciple, he would be wounded as well. It would naturally be the best if the person gave in and left. However, what a joke! The Yunshao sect disciple scoffed. Yi Tianqiu, aren't you too bold? Do you know that this spirit life flower is an item that you, the holy lady of my Yunshao sect, wants? How dare you fight with Senior Sister Yu for it? When mentioning Yu, the eyes of this Yunshao sect disciple were full of worship and adoration. Ever since Yu entered the sect, she was regarded highly by the sect master of Yunshao sect and was conferred as the Holy Lady of Yunshao sect. It goes without saying that her position in the sect was extremely high. Humph! Yi Tianqiu scoffed. Whoever it is, this spirit life flower is mine today. Since you can't appreciate my kindness and want death, I'll grant you that. Tianqiu, you have a death wish? Before Yi Tianqiu made any move, The Yunshao sect disciple took the advantage of striking first as he drew out a long sword from the scabbard on his waist with a crisp clang. As he waved his sword, the image of the sword was like a screen which almost turned into a substantial sword aura that charged towards Itancho. Overconfident. A cold glint twinkled in Itayanch's eyes as he launched a strike with his palm that crushed the sword aura of the Yunshao sect disciple. That Yunshao sect disciple was actually rather skilled, but his cultivation was at the mid-stage of the first heaven of martial chi level 3 while Itayanch's skills had already reached the perfected stage of the first heaven of martial chi level 3. Regardless of the background and experience in the realm, he was superior to the Yunshao sect disciple. At that instant, Yi Qingtang was standing near the huge rock where she spectated the match between Yi Tianqiu and the Yunshao sect disciple with indifference. An icy scoff that was hard to detect hung on the corner of her lips. Boom! A loud bang echoed throughout the surrounding area. The Yunshao sect disciple was hit on his abdomen by Yi Tianqiu and was flung out like a kite with a snapped string. However, Yi Tianqiu did not have a large gain. His left shoulder was stabbed by the Yunshao sect disciple, and fresh blood stained his sleeves red in a moment. Under the tattered clothes was a ghastly sword wound so deep that his bones could be seen. Little brat of Yunshao sect, I think you're tired of living. Yi Tianqiu was utterly wrathful after being injured by the Yunshao sect disciple. He lifted his right arm and fiercely waved it in the air. In a moment, a hurricane ensued, and the force of the primordial chi condensed into a giant golden palm in the air. The speed of the giant golden palm was extremely rapid as it dove down at the Yunshao sect disciple. Caught off guard, the Yunshao sect disciple was suppressed by the giant golden palm. With a loud whoa, he spat out large mouthfuls of blood. TSK, I've been stuck in the first heaven of martial chi level 3 for 5 years while you advanced to first heaven of martial chi level 3 for at most 2 years. How can you be my opponent? Yi Tianqiu snickered evilly as he walked towards the Yunshao sect disciple with a brutal expression. Sword of the Heaven technique. The Yunshao sect shouted. Destroy! As the Yunshao sect disciple spoke, the long sword in his hand charged towards Yi Tianqiu at the speed of lightning. Upon seeing this, Yi Tianqiu's expression changed, and he hurriedly retreated, temporarily avoiding the tip of the sword. The force of the primordial chi with a breath of destruction on the long sword was extremely terrifying. While Yi Tianqiu's speed was swift and was not stabbed by the long sword, the breath of destruction within the sword wounded him. Chapter 454. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the aureole behind. 2. Blood was flowing out of Yi Tianqiu's mouth then. He avoided in time, fortunately. Otherwise, if he was attacked head-on, the breath of destruction would tear him into shreds in just 1 second. The sword with senior sister Yu's aura? Despicable! The Yunshao sect disciple clenched his teeth. Yu had used the force of the blue spirit root to inject a breath of destruction in his long sword which was enough to save his life and counterattack. Yet, unexpectedly, Yi Tianqiu luckily dodged it. Die! Yi Tianqiu hollered in fury and darted to the front of the Yunshao sect disciple. Without giving him any time to react, Yi Tianqiu slammed his palm directly on the Yunshao sect disciple's crown. Immediately, the crushing of bones could be heard, and blood gushed out from the Yunshao sect disciple's eyes, ears, mouth, and nose. Thump! The Yunshao sect disciple collapsed on the ground like a pile of mud and lost his life on the spot after taking just 2 breaths. After killing the Yunshao sect disciple, Yi Tianqiu immediately leaped up and plucked the light cyan spirit life flower on the huge rock away. You've obtained the spirit life flower. You can release me already, right? Yi Qingtang looked at Yi Tianqiu, who already gained the spirit life flower. At that moment, Yi Tianqiu's complexion was ghastly pale. After the battle with the Yunshao sect disciple, his injuries were not light, and he was especially severely injured from the breath of destruction that was injected using the force of Yi Yu's spirit root. Presently, Yi Tianqiu naturally did not have the energy to do anything to Yi Qingtang, but he would not spare her life either. TSK, little beauty, thank you for telling me about the spirit life flower. Yi Tianqiu smiled sinisterly. However, I never intended to let you go. It's a pity that I'm injured and can't do wonderful things with you. It truly is a pity. Upon hearing that, Yi Qingtang had a shocked expression on her face as she replied. You actually lied. Haha. Yi Tianqiu chortled loudly. I'm going to recuperate in this mountain valley. If I let you go, you will definitely disclose this information. Furthermore, I don't have the habit of setting anyone free. A hint of bloodthirst twinkled in his eyes as he walked towards Yi Qingtang. Little beauty, Yi Tianqiu's eyes twinkled. Goodbye. Seeing that Yi Tianqiu was going to strike, Yi Qingtang seemed as though she was extremely petrified. No, fear was etched on Yi Qingtang's face. Yi Tianqiu sneered even deeper after seeing Yi Qingtang's reaction. He immediately accumulated a huge amount of force in his palm and slammed towards Yi Qingtang's crown. Swoosh. However, as he was launching this quick attack, what he never expected was that this extremely frail-looking beauty would strike at this moment. Almost instantly, Yi Qingtang struck with her palm in lightning speed. Boom! A deafening sound echoed the entire area when the two palms met. In the next second, Tianqiu retreated over 10 steps in disbelief as he spat a streak of blood. You! Yi Tianqiu looked at Yi Qingtang in disbelief. Martial Qi Level 2. Second Heaven. At the same time, the expression of fear on Yi Qingtang's face vanished completely, and it was replaced with an evil smile. Yi Tianqiu's face was awfully pallid like that of a dead corpse, as he stared at Yi Qingtang disbelievingly. You! Yi Tianqiu was astounded. Me! An unknowing smile was hung on Yi Qingtang's lips. What about me? Damn woman! You're lying to me. Yi Tianqiu was ranked 9 on the assassination roll and was able to live in the world without being killed by the Sex and Formidable Heavens dynasty. How could he not be smart? Yi Tianqiu was not a fool. As long as he thought for a while, it was clear to him. The girl before him was not injured at all. Even more so, she laid a trap for him from the very start. Lying to you? Yi Qingtang raised her brows as she sneered. How can you say that? Isn't the spirit life flower here? Yi Tianqiu clenched his teeth tightly and wished he could shred Yi Qingtang into pieces. However, Yi Tianqiu, you don't have the ability to obtain this spirit life flower. I still must thank you for handing this spirit life flower to me. Laughter filled Yi Qingtang's eyes as she picked up the spirit life flower that escaped Yi Tianqiu's hands previously. Chapter 455. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. 3. This girl? How deep and vicious you are. Yi Tianqiu felt torn apart as he watched Yi Qingtang keep the spirit life flower away. He fought for the spirit life flower with his life, but it was ultimately a dowry for others. Vicious? Yi Qingtang could not help but laugh. If it were other girls who were not skilled enough and did not set such a trap for Yi Tianqiu, their ending would have been miserably tragic. Ah! Yi Qingtang scoffed coldly. If I didn't act like I'm weak and dumb, how could I lead you to snatch the spirit life flower and defeat both you and that Yunshao sect disciple? Given Yi Qingtang's cultivation, she was not able to defeat either Yi Tianqiu or the Yunshao sect disciple who was guarding here. Obtaining the spirit life flower from the Yunshao sect disciple was nothing but a pipe dream. Yi Tianqiu came knocking on the door himself and jumped into the hole. He could only be blamed for being innocently foolish. Now, the Yunshao sect disciple was killed by Yi Tianqiu while Yi Tianqiu was severely injured by the Yunshao sect disciple before he died. As such, Yi Qingtang had absolute control now. All this while, Yi Tianqiu did not think much of her and thus was not on his guard against her, especially when she attacked him earlier on when he was already injured. Facing someone at the first heaven of martial Qi level 3 who was full of weak points and even heavily injured, Yi Qingtang naturally had no fears. Everything was in Yi Qingtang's control. From the very start when Yi Tianqiu appeared, he was destined to be a dead man. Before she had any absolutely powerful martial skills, the brain was also a good asset which even surpassed martial skills at certain times. To repay you for helping me to snatch this spirit life flower, I've decided to lay you to rest in this mountain valley. What do you think? The corners of Yi Qingtang's lips tugged up. As she spoke, There was a crisp clang, and the demonic blood sword appeared, filling the air with a frightening demonic aura. Sensing Yi Qingtang's murderous intent, Yi Tianqiu was filled with horror. His combat capability decreased greatly when he was heavily injured by the Yunshao sect disciple before he died. Moreover, this girl launched a sneak attack on him earlier. With those injuries, the primordial qi in his body was erratic, and his blood flow was disorderly, causing his entire body to wobble. Not mentioning about fighting back, he was almost losing the strength to even stand straight. The moment the demonic blood sword was drawn out, the blood-colored sword aura seeped out like a mighty torrent. Before Yi Tianqiu knew what happened, his right arm was already chopped off by the demonic blood sword. Shrill cries escaped Yi Tianqiu's mouth as anger and unwillingness were evident on his face. He, Yi Tianqiu, had trampled around formidable Heaven's dynasty freely for over a decade, and he had never respected the most skilled and powerful formidable Heaven's royal. A living legend, he even dared to offend the Yunshao sect, yet never expected that he would lose his life in the hands of a female disciple of Xianling sect. Yi Tianqiu looked at Yi Qingtang as though he wanted to say something. However, Yi Qingtang did not give Tianqiu any chance to speak, and a cold glint shone as she waved the demonic blood sword lightly. With a swoosh, a blood ripple was seen in the midair. In the next second, Yi Tianqiu's skull was flung into the sky, and large gushes of blood spouted out from his neck area like the spattering of rain which stained the entire ground red. Yi Tianqiu's head fell somewhere far away and rolled away like a ball, leaving a trace of blood on the ground. A headless body collapsed on the ground and gradually turned cold. Chapter 456, Great Harvest, 1. Yi Qingtang stared at Yi Tianqiu, whose head was separated from the body. Her eyes did not show any trace of pity, as countless women would suffer with this kind of person living in the world. Soon, Yi Qingtang walked forward and rated everything on Yi Tianqiu. She was not interested to take his head, as she was not heading back to the sect. It was not very convenient to carry a human head with her. Yi Tianqiu had an old kung fu technique book and a bag of spirit stones with him. There was also a gold token. This is the token of the Assassination Alliance? Yi Qingtang was in deep thought as she stared at the token. The Assassination Alliance consisted of the most vicious people whose names were on the assassination roll. The dark gold token showed the identity and the position of the person in the Assassination Alliance. Yi Qingtang did not think much and kept the token away. She then threw the book at the side. Yi Qingtang had stepped into the Paragon realm in her previous life, and the martial skills that she cultivated were the Paragon skills. How would she be interested in the skills that a person with martial qi level 3 possessed? Yi Qingtang was most interested in the bag of spirit stones. Medium-grade spirit stones. Yi Qingtang opened the bag, and there were 12 spirit stones inside. The spirit stones were classified into superior, medium, and lower grades. Lower-grade spirit stones were sold in normal auctions and the treasure pavilion. They were very ordinary, and Yi Qingtang always fed them as snacks to her lightning dragon. The medium-grade spirit stones were different. A medium-grade spirit stone was worth more than 1,000 of lower-grade ones. It contained sufficient spirit energy for cultivators to absorb and upgrade their ability, and it could also be used as a currency. On the road of martial art cultivation, the stronger and more powerful you were, the more useless the gold and silver currency were. Gold and silver were completely useless if one reached the Yin-Yang True Lord level. The items in the top treasure pavilions and auctions were mostly divine weapons and paragon treasures, and gold and silver could never be used to purchase them. The currency in exchange would be medium-grade spirit stones. Gold and silver were the currency for the weak. The medium-grade and superior-grade spirit stones were the currency for the strong. The land that was more advanced did not even have gold or silver. The currency used was all superior-grade spirit stones or even stones with higher quality. The medium-grade spirit stones could be the main currency for the strong, as they contained a large amount of spirit energy and could improve one's cultivation. Gold and silver were useless for strong cultivators. Yi Tianqiu was at the martial qi level 3. It was not strange for him to have the medium-grade spirit stones. At this level, gold and silver slowly faded out of the currency and were replaced by medium-grade spirit stones. The spirit energy that a medium-grade spirit stone contained could be compared to 1,000 of lower-grade spirit stones. 12 of them were equal to 12,000 lower-grade spirit stones. Yi Qingtang was slightly delighted. 12 medium-grade spirit stones was not a small number, as the elder of the Xianling sect only received a few medium-grade spirit stones every month. 12 medium-grade spirit stones. If the spirit energy can be absorbed by the heart of the demon god, maybe I can break through to the third heaven of martial qi level 2, Yi Qingtang murmured to herself. For normal people, they might need at least a few hundred medium-grade spirit stones. However, Yi Qingtang was different, as she possessed the heart of the demon god. Yi Qingtang reaching the paragon level after 300 years since she left the sect in her previous life was all due to the heart of the demon god. Chapter 457 Great Harvest 2. Apparently, the medium-grade spirit stones only worked for cultivators at martial qi level 2. If one stepped into martial qi level 3, the amount of energy that the medium-grade spirit stones could provide would be very limited. Even Yi Qingtang required at least 1,000 of medium-grade spirit stones to advance her cultivation level. Yi Qingtang walked forward and stopped beside the corpse of the Yunshao sect disciple. She found another 5 medium-grade spirit stones from the Yunshao sect disciple and a silver color token. Yunshao token. Yi Qingtang sized up the token and muttered. The Yunshao token belonged to Yunshao sect disciples only, and it represented their identity. Yi Qingtang was slightly attracted to the token. The token might be useful in the future. Yi Qingtang then kept the token into her space ring. The harvest she had this time was way beyond her imagination. Previously, the best result she thought was to acquire the Spirit Life Flower. However, besides the Spirit Life Flower, she collected 17 medium-grade spirit stones from Yi Tianqiu and the Yunshao sect disciple. They were equal to 17,000 lower-grade spirit stones. She did not spend much energy, so the things were like given to her for free. After packing up everything, Yi Qingtang did not move far. She chose a remote cave nearby and sat down. She then took out all the medium-grade spirit stones. 17 spirit stones were covered by the primordial qi and floating in the air. Large amounts of spirit energy suddenly diffused out of the medium-grade spirit stones and lighted up the entire cave. Yi Qingtang spent one whole night to absorb the spirit energy from the spirit stones. Next day morning, when the sun just arose, the darkness in the cave was replaced by light. Rays of lights shone into the cave, and Yi Qingtang opened her eyes slowly. The 17 medium-grade spirit stones that were floating in the air previously had lost their initial luster. The scraps were useless now, as all the spirit energy was absorbed by Yi Qingtang. Third heaven of martial qi level 2. Yi Qingtang could feel her primordial qi flowing through her body. Joy filled her eyes. The effects of the medium-grade spirit stones were better than she expected. They strengthened her martial ability at mid-stage of the third heaven of martial qi level 2. She was very close to the late stage. If I had more medium-grade spirit stones, I may be able to reach the third heaven of the martial qi level 3 soon, Yi Qingtang murmured to herself. However, the medium-grade spirit stones were too precious. 17 of them could be considered as a large number, as they were equal to half a year's pay for the Xianling sect elders. More spirit energy would be needed to break through when she reached the third heaven of the martial qi level 2, and a dozen of medium-grade spirit stones were far from enough. Yi Qingtang did not bother about the spirit stones anymore. She decided to leave the scraps at the side, but when she just gathered the scraps together, the lightning dragon that was sleeping in her arms suddenly poked its head out. It shook its head and seemed to be looking for something. The lightning dragon had been exhausted since the incidents at the Spirit Condensation Mountain Village. Yi Qingtang found some inferior-grade spirit stones to supplement it with energy, but the results were not great. Thus, it always slept in her arms. How come today it was so active? Yi Qingtang was curious. The lightning dragon had found the breath that excited it. It gazed at the scraps of spirit stones and slipped out of Yi Qingtang's arms. It swung its body and walked towards the scraps. When it reached the pile of scraps, it suddenly opened its mouth and swallowed all 17 of the leftover medium-grade spirit stones. Chapter 458 Unexpected Surprise 1. There was a subtle change in Yi Qingtang's expression as she stared at the lightning dragon. Most of the spirit energy in the medium-grade spirit stones had been absorbed by her, and the remaining energy could not be used by humans anymore, so they were considered useless. But she forgot that. The last trace of spirit energy that could not be obtained by people still could be used by lightning dragons, as they would swallow the entire stone. Though most of the spirit energy was used by Yi Qingtang, the remaining was still much more than the spirit energy that inferior-grade spirit stones contained. No wonder the lightning dragon was so excited. Yi Qingtang smiled and watched the lightning dragon swallowing all the 17 medium-grade spirit stones. It laid beside her in satisfaction. Yi Qingtang could not help but poke its round belly gently. The lightning dragon swung its body lightly but was too lazy to move anymore. Its eyes narrowed comfortably. Yi Qingtang witnessed how satisfied the lightning dragon was and did not poke it anymore. She gently hugged it in her arms. This gave her a reminder that in future, if there were medium-grade spirit stones again, she must leave the scraps to this little dragon. After settling the lightning dragon, Yi Qingtang took out the spirit life flower from her space ring. Laughter filled her eyes as she sized up the spirit life flower. This was the treasure that Yi was longing for. Yi got her hands on it in last time around, and her spirit root was refreshed. The power of her spirit root became purer, and her ability improved at a faster pace. In this life, the spirit life flower did not belong to Yi anymore and fell into her hands. Yi Qingtang did not hesitate and swallowed the spirit life flower. Other than a little sweetness, the taste was not special. After 4 hours, Yi Qingtang suddenly frowned as there was a wide breath circulating inside her body. Yi Qingtang's body felt like it was being beaten by hammers. Her limbs and body were shivering slightly. Yi Qingtang could clearly feel that her spirit root was surrounded by a weird power. The heart of the demon god seemed to be disturbed and awoken at the same time. It engulfed the weird power constantly and then channeled all the power to the spirit root. The whole process was unbearable for normal people. The spirit root was the foundation of a cultivator and their source of power. The refreshing process was painful and unbearable. Yi Qingtang's entire body was soaked with cold sweat, but she gritted her teeth and persevered without making any sound. The pain slowly faded after a long time. Yi Qingtang calmed her heart down and checked the situation of her spirit root. The orange color was brighter now, and her spirit root was radiating some kind of hot breath. The color was darkening, and eventually, the spirit root showed a golden yellow color. Yellow spirit root? Yi Qingtang was stunned, and her body trembled. It took her very long to realize what just happened. She also did not expect the effects of the spirit life flower to be so great. After the process, her orange spirit root had leveled up to a yellow spirit root. Leveling up a spirit root was extremely difficult, and it was even harder to do so on this land where there was insufficient spirit energy and obsolete martial civilization. However, her spirit root still leveled up under such conditions. Chapter 459 Unexpected Surprise 2. Before Yi Qingtang could think it through, the yellow spirit root that just transformed suddenly radiated an extremely hot breath. The breath spread like fire, rushing into every meridian inside her body. Arg! Even Yi Qingtang also groaned in pain. The cold sweat on her head was dripping like pearls from a broken string. Yi Qingtang's face was full of astonishment. Yi Qingtang immediately wanted to direct her primordial qi to counter the pain that was brought by the heat radiated from the spirit life flower. However, that did not help at all and instead caused the breath to be even hotter, as if she was surrounded by fire. Hot flames suddenly arose on from her arm to her entire body. Yi Qingtang was shocked. The flame engulfed her completely within a second and condensed into a sun-like shape. A bright glow filled the entire cave. Ugh! Under the light of the little sun, Yi Qingtang's expression showed that she was suffering in agony. It seemed that she might melt at any time. However, at the same moment, the heart of the demon god started beating. A ray of black light surrounded Yi Qingtang and protected her inside. The unbearable pain was then slightly relieved, and Yi Qingtang regained her consciousness. The little sun faded after 2 days. At the same time, when Yi Qingtang opened her eyes, a streak of light suddenly shot out of her eyes. Boom! The light crushed the wall of the stone into a brown powder. The Paragon skill. Rise of the Phoenix. Yi Qingtang was stunned. She could not believe what had just happened. The level of one spirit root was classified as red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, and purple. The so-called Paragon skill was not an external martial skill. It was the only skill that could be understood from the spirit root. Only cultivators with yellow spirit roots and above could understand their own Paragon skills. It was extremely rare for one to understand the Paragon skill. Feng Moli was the only one in the Xianling sect who understood the Paragon skill, and that was the reason why he was valued so high in the sect. It was obvious how precious the Paragon skill was. Yi Qingtang lifted her arm slightly. A flower constructed by a golden flame emerged on her palm. The heat immediately spread out like fire. Yi Qingtang still remained in shock. That's weird. This does not look like the normal rise of the phoenix. Yi Qingtang frowned as she could not understand the Paragon skill that came from nowhere. The normal rise of the phoenix stored some kind of energy in the body, but Yi Qingtang's rise of the phoenix merged the energy into her meridians. Even her primordial qi was also affected, and the color changed from pure white to gold. The Paragon skill could never reach this level. Furthermore, the rise of the phoenix came very suddenly, and she was almost killed in the flame. If the heart of the demon god had not protected her just now, she might have been burned alive under the heat of the rise of the phoenix. She had never heard that the Paragon skill was so dangerous that one might lose their life. Unless, Yi Qingtang seemed to realize something after a while. Her pupil contracted, and her face was filled with disbelief. Is it possible that this is not the normal rise of the phoenix but the ultimate origin skill? Yi Qingtang was totally taken aback by this thought. Chapter 460 Unexpected Surprise 3. The ultimate origin skill was the same as the Paragon skill but much more powerful. According to the rumors, only those who were born extremely talented had the chance to acquire the ultimate origin skill. There were 3 powerful people who had acquired the ultimate origin skill on this land. The first person was the legend on this land. He was addressed by people as the Pagoda Sword Master. He reached the ultimate level of the Yin-Yang True Lord at age 20 and was only half step away from breaking through to the Arcane Supremacy level. However, the martial civilization on this land was too obsolete, and there was insufficient spirit energy. The Pagoda Sword Master left eventually to a land with a more advanced civilization, and no one knew where he was now. The second person was the Lord of the Blood Moon Sect. He was the ultimate power of the Blood Moon Sect, more terrifying than the Blood Moon Sect Master. His position in the Blood Moon Sect was equal to the Grand Elder of the sect. The third person would be the Ultimate Elder, the most powerful person on this land. The renowned sects combined their forces back then to terminate the entire Blood Moon Sect, and within half a year, the Blood Moon Sect was greatly damaged, and they had to retreat. Then, the Blood Moon Lord finished his seclusion and only used half a day to kill many sections. His power was insane, and no one could beat him. However, the Ultimate Elder showed up soon and fought with the Blood Moon Lord. He eventually beat off the Lord. If the Ultimate Elder had not shown up, the Blood Moon Sect would have definitely won. The 3 most powerful people on this land all possessed the ultimate origin skill. The youngest Pagoda Sword Master was the first, followed by the Blood Moon Lord and the Ultimate Elder. Yi Qingtang had also heard of the Pagoda Sword Master before. It was said that he had no competitors on this land. He once fought with the Ultimate Elder and Blood Moon Lord together, and he only used 10 steps to fight off both of them. He then sighed and flew into the void. Eventually, he left this piece of land. Ultimate origin skill. Yi Qingtang's eyes were fixed onto her palm. Her Rise of the Phoenix had the same flame property as Feng Moli's Paragon skill. However, its nature was vastly different. Feng Moli's paragon skill was just an ordinary one. It could not even be compared to the ultimate origin skill. Is it due to the refreshment of the spirit life flower? It leveled up my spirit root. Then, is there some kind of mutation that causes me to acquire the ultimate origin skill? Yi Qingtang could not figure out the origin of the ultimate origin skill. She only knew that the ultimate origin skill was way beyond the paragon skill, but she did not know how it was formed. Yi Qingtang always looked forward to obtaining the paragon skill in her previous life, but she could only dream about it as she did not have a spirit root. She did not expect that she could acquire the ultimate origin skill in this life that was much more powerful than the paragon skill. It's a pity that my ultimate origin skill is not powerful enough due to my cultivation level. Yi Qingtang contemplated for a while and murmured to herself. The ultimate origin skill that she could display using her third heaven of martial qi level 2's cultivation might be able to reach a draw with people at Yi Tianqi's level. It was even possible to kill them with the ultimate origin skill. Yi Tianqi was killed by her as he was severely injured. He looked down on her and was not on guard against her, giving her the chance to kill him. Otherwise, she could never fight against him. After a short while, Yi Qingtang used the feather formation technique. Her primordial qi concentrated at her back, and the pure white feathers also turned into a gold color as the result of the ultimate origin skill. Yi Qingtang flew into the air immediately, heading towards the Xianling sect. She had been at this mountain valley for quite a while. Elder Qin and the rest might have left the drifting cloud island. Thus, Yi Qingtang did not plan to return to there. Yi Qingtang flew at a very high speed, and she had flew around 5,000 meters away within a second. Suddenly, Yi Qingtang frowned and stopped in midair. Earth-shaking sounds came from a few hundred meters away. There were 2 streaks of martial qi aura spreading out. Even Yi Qingtang could sense the aura. Yi Qingtang did not want to be involved. However, when she was about to leave, a huge demon subduing pagoda emerged in front of her eyes. After being forced backward 10 or so steps by the demon subduing pagoda, Yu Tiancheng suddenly stopped and took out a talisman. Then, Yu Tiancheng threw the talisman out. In a second, the talisman started burning and eventually turned into a golden light once it was completely burnt. Array formation in a talisman? After noticing the situation, Jiyixuan's expression changed slightly. The more powerful the array formation was, the longer it took to set the array, and top array formations needed at least months to finish setting up. However, Yu Tiancheng sealed the array formation in the talisman in advance, which could achieve the effect immediately. Golden light cast from the sky immediately and shrouded over the demon subduing pagoda. Boom, 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 boom. The huge demon subduing pagoda was wildly attacked in the golden light, where the sounds of contact were frightening. Nonetheless, Yu Tiancheng's array formation was extremely brilliant, and the demon subduing pagoda could not escape it. Worldly self-illusion. With an indifferent expression, Jixuan immediately manifested another hymn. At that moment, there were 2 Jiyixuans standing side by side. 461 Demon Subduing Pagoda, 1. That demon subduing pagoda was over 10 feet tall with an imposing aura that filled the air. Yi Qingtang was taken aback by this look. That is, Master's demon subduing pagoda? In her previous life, Yi Qingtang was once saved by perfected Xianxin of 9 Knights dynasty and brought to cultivate in Falling Sky Valley. That demon-subduing pagoda was one of perfected Xuanxin's Dharma treasures which could subdue all evil beings, and Yi Qingtang had once seen it before. This is strange. Master once said that his demon-subduing pagoda was handed to his favorite disciple. Afterward, that disciple was killed, and the demon-subduing pagoda ended up in Yunshao Sec's hands. Yi Qingtang's brows were furrowed as she pondered. The demon-subduing pagoda was in Yunshao Sec's hands for very long, until a long time later when perfected Xianxin killed a Yunshao sect elder and got the demon-subduing pagoda back. Why would I see Master's demon-subduing pagoda here? Yi Qingtang's expression was serious. After thinking for a long while, she ultimately decided to check. Kilometers away, 2 young males were exuding a frightening air which stirred gusts of winds that swept the surrounding area. One of the males was wearing a long black robe, and there was a golden embroidery of the word valley on the chest, while the other person was a Yunshao sect disciple. Jishuan, disciple of perfected Xianxin in Nine Nights Dynasty, I did not think that I would actually meet you here. The Yunshao sect disciple sneered at the teen in the black robe. At that instant, the youth in the black robe waved his right arm, and the tall demon subduing pagoda shrank immediately and fell into his hand. You are the disciple of Yunshao sect master, Yu Tianqing. The male in the black robe had an aloof expression as he sized up the youth before him. That's me. Yu Tianqing laughed. Jishuan, why are you not in Nine Nights Dynasty but here in Formidable Heavens Dynasty? It has nothing to do with you. Ji Yishuan replied. Upon hearing that, a cold glint flashed across Yu Tianqing's eyes. Jishuan, Falling Sky Valley and Yunshao sect are mortal enemies. Now that you've stepped into the Formidable Heavens Dynasty, you are courting your own death. Yishuan said with indifference. Our skills are similar, and Master granted me the Dharma treasure, Demon Subduing Pagoda, for this trip to the Formidable Heavens Dynasty. Wonder which one of us will die today. Then, the Demon Subduing Pagoda in his hands turned swiftly. It let out a horrifying sound, and thunder emerged around it. Jishuan waved his right arm, and a palm print was formed from his palms. Instantly, the Demon Subduing Pagoda elongated and turned to be over 10 meters tall, which suppressed Yu Tianqing. This Dharma treasure is indeed powerful. After being forced backward 10 or so steps by the Demon Subduing Pagoda, Yu Tianqing suddenly stopped and took out a talisman. Then, Yu Tianqing threw the talisman out. In a second, the talisman started burning and eventually turned into a golden light once it was completely burnt. A ray formation in a talisman? After noticing the situation, Jiyixuan's expression changed slightly. The more powerful the array formation was, the longer it took to set the array, and top array formations needed at least months to finish setting up. However, Yu Tianqing sealed the array formation in the talisman in advance, which could achieve the effect immediately. Golden light cast from the sky immediately and shrouded over the demon subduing pagoda. Boom, 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 boom. The huge demon subduing pagoda was wildly attacked in the golden light, where the sounds of contact were frightening. Nonetheless, Yu Tianqing's array formation was extremely brilliant, and the demon subduing pagoda could not escape it. Worldly self-illusion. With an indifferent expression, Jishuan immediately manifested another him. At that moment, there were two Jiyixuans standing side by side. Chapter 462 Demon Subduing Pagoda 2. Oh. Worldly self-illusion. Your martial talents are indeed shocking, and you have proved yourself to be the favorite disciple of Falling Sky Valley's perfected Xianxin. Your worldly self-illusion is actually at such a refined level. Yu Tianqing shook his head and continued. If not for Master's Kingdom of God talisman, perhaps I would really have been defeated by you today. Then, Yu Tianqing sneered as he took out another talisman from his space ring. Once the talisman was completely burnt, it was as though there were singings of various gods in the surroundings, and an illusory kingdom of God fell from the sky. Shock filled Jiyixuan's eyes upon noticing the situation. The Kingdom of God was the highest level array formation which could even suppress someone at third heaven of martial chi level 3. Yunshao sect was actually so generous to give their disciples such a life-saving item. Seeing that the Kingdom of God was falling down, Jishuan immediately retreated far away. Huh? It's no use? Yu Tianqing's lips curled into a cold scoff. Just as Yu Tianqing finished his sentence, the Kingdom of God landed and quelled Jiyixuan's duplicate while trapping his original self within it. Subsequently, the Kingdom of God shrank and turned into an enclosed golden screen. A mere Kingdom of God, and you wish to trap Jishuan? Jishuan drew out his divine weapon with a loud clang. At that moment, Jishuan gripped on the divine weapon tightly with firmness in his eyes. Sword intent. Yu Tianqing's brows were tightly furrowed. When cultivated to the extreme, a swordsman could develop the sword intent, which was incredibly frightening willpower that could even split mountains and cut rivers. Shatter! Jixuan shouted sternly as he waved his divine weapon. Boom! A sword glint rummaged across the screen as though it wanted to annihilate this world. However, this frightening strike only caused a tiny crack on the exterior of the screen while the divine weapon in Jixuan's hands broke. Haha, Yu Tiancheng guffawed at the situation. Amazing. Indeed amazing. Truly a genius of Falling Sky Valley. It is a pity, though, that this kingdom of God is given by my master and is extremely firm. Even if you understand the sword intent, you can't break it. Jixuan did not move after hearing it as he looked at Yu Tiancheng without emotions. It's a pity. This kingdom of God can trap people for only that long, and afterward, the force of the array formation would fade away. I will kill you once I'm out. Out. Yu Tiancheng shook his head. I forgot to tell you that there's a breath of destruction injected in it by my senior sister Yi Yu using the force of her blue spirit root. You will become a skeleton in at most 4 hours. Only at that instant was there a slight abnormality in Jixuan's expression. In the 7 spirit roots, there would be changes in the attributes of a spirit from the blue spirit root on. Blue spirit roots could actively absorb the spirit energy in the world and turn the absorbed spirit energy into the breath of destruction. Yunshao sect produced a rare genius, Yi Yu, and he naturally heard of it as a Falling Sky Valley disciple. Although he was unaware of how powerful that Yi Yu was, even if she did not really cultivate in the future, just solely using the blue spirit root in her body to actively absorb the spirit energy in the world was enough for her to become a yin-yang true lord. If this kingdom of God really contained Yi Yu's breath of destruction as what Yu Tiancheng said, if he could not find a way to escape from the array formation in a short time, he would definitely die in it. Huh. Yu Tiancheng looked at Jixuan who was sealed in the array formation screen and commented spiritedly. Jixuan, one of the younger generation talents in Falling Sky Valley and a disciple of perfected Xianchen, it's impressive that you understand the sword intent and worldly self-illusion. Yet, ultimately, you still have to die in my hands. It truly is a twist of fate. Chapter 463 Demons Subduing Pagoda 3. Jixuan frowned deeply without saying anything to Yu Tiancheng. The force of destruction was slowly beginning to condense in the kingdom of God. If he still did not think of a way to escape, he would probably lose his life here. Yu Tiancheng sneered as though he had seen through Jixuan's thoughts. Jixuan, this array formation can only be broken from the outside. It is already considered a miracle that you could create a crack in the kingdom of God from the inside with the sword intent earlier on. Now, your weapon is already broken, and there is no way you can condense the force of the sword intent anymore, much less escape from here. Just kill that thought. Then, Yu Tiancheng walked to another side. The corners of his lips tugged up slightly as he looked at the demons subduing pagoda in the golden light. He waved his right arm over it, and the golden light faded away. He placed the demon subduing pagoda which had returned to its original size into his palm. Not bad. The Dharma treasure of Falling Sky Valley's Division Valley Master, perfected Xianchen, is indeed not bad. However, it belongs to us Yunshao sect now. Yu Tiancheng laughed. Don't you dare! Fury emerged in Jixuan's eyes. The demon-subduing pagoda was given to him by his master, perfected Xianchen, to protect his life. How could it end up in the hands of their mortal enemy, Yunshao sect? Haha. Yu Tiancheng could not help but scoff. The demon-subduing pagoda is already in my hands now. Do you think I dare or not? Before waiting for Jixuan to say anything, Yu Tiancheng waved a hand and intercepted him. Jixuan, instead of wasting saliva like this, why not think of how to escape from there? As Yu Tiancheng finished his sentence, the pressure of the spirit energy in the kingdom of God, read only at Wuxia World. Site for fast updates, skyrocketed and materialized into an inexplicable breath of destruction. The force of it was like the descent of countless mountains which suppressed Jixuan tightly, causing his breaths to quicken and face to flush. Before long, Jixuan could no longer hold it in and fell on the floor with a thump as cold sweat dripped down his forehead like a broken pearl necklace. On a slope several hundred meters away, Yi Qingtang was looking ahead at that instant. Yu Tiancheng. After she saw that small disciple of the Yunshao sect master, her fists were tightly clenched, and she strongly desired to skin him alive. In her previous lifetime, she was wounded by Yu Tiancheng a few times and almost lost her life in all encounters. After Nine Nights Dynasty was wiped out, Yunshao sect combined forces with other super sects of Formidable Heavens Dynasty to attack Falling Sky Valley. Yu Tiancheng's hands were stained with the blood of all her senior and junior brothers. Very quickly, Yi Qingtang calmed her heart down and looked at Jixuan. She never thought that she would meet Jixuan, the disciple of her master who had already passed on in her previous life, of Falling Sky Valley today. Back then, Yi Qingtang entered Falling Sky Valley and cultivated beside perfected Xianxin. Thus, she naturally had heard of these past events. Jixuan came to the Formidable Heavens Dynasty to obtain the Regeneration Stone. The Regeneration Stone possessed the powers of renewing the bones of a dying person. The Valley Master of Falling Sky Valley was heavily injured from a battle a decade ago. He was already of old age now and had a sudden illness. He could only keep his life with that Regeneration Stone. In her previous life, the Regeneration Stone that Jixuan obtained along with the demon-subduing pagoda fell into Yunshao sect's hands together. Because the Regeneration Stone was too rare, perfected Xianxin could not find another one even when he personally searched for it, which resulted in the eventual death of Falling Sky Valley's Valley Master. Yi Qingtang looked at Jixuan, who was over 100 meters away. He was sealed in the array formation, and the force of destruction in it had already caused him to gasp for air. She was afraid that Jixuan would die in the array in no time. Based on skills, Jixuan was one of Falling Sky Valley's geniuses and had comprehended the sword intent as well as the worldly self-illusion. Under normal circumstances, Yu Tiancheng of Yunshao sect was definitely not his opponent. Chapter 464 Senior Brother and Junior Sister, 1. However, Yu Tiancheng had too many cards in his hand and was able to achieve victory just by using 2 talismans that the Yunshao sect master gave. While the demon-subduing pagoda was powerful, it was relative. It could subdue and slaughter any evil spirits in an instant, but when dealing with humans, its abilities were greatly reduced and naturally would not be as good as the array formation in a talisman that the Yunshao sect master gave to Yu Tiancheng. Yi Qingtang frowned deeply. Although she wanted to save this senior brother that she never met in her previous life, Yu Tiancheng's skills were too powerful and she would definitely not be able to defeat him even if she played all her cards. Moreover, even if she could defeat him, she did not dare to make a move rashly. No one knew how many cards Yu Tiancheng still had on him, and if he took out another array formation in a talisman. Just as Yi Qingtang felt helpless with the situation, her eyes flickered. She opened Wuxia World Sight, her space ring, and her lips curled into a smile as she looked at the Yunshao token inside the space ring. Then, she took out an ordinary blouse from the space ring and changed out from the dirty Xianling sect uniform. Since this top was tighter than the Xianling sect uniform, Yi Qingtang had the little lightning dragon shrink a little to hide it in her wide sleeves. After changing, Yi Qingtang immediately stood up and walked ahead in great strides. About 100 meters outside, Yu Tiancheng suddenly looked over. "Whoever that is, do not come any farther," Yu Tiancheng ordered coldly. "Is that senior brother Yu Tiancheng ahead?" Yi Qingtang stopped walking and asked, "Who are you?" Yu Tiancheng sized up Yi Qingtang and thought she was rather foreign. "It indeed is senior brother Yu." Yi Qingtang had an agitated expression. "Senior brother Yu, I am a Yunshao sect disciple." Yu Tiancheng was startled to hear that. This random girl who appeared from nowhere actually claimed to be a Yunshao sect disciple? "You are a Yunshao sect disciple? Why have I not seen you before?" Jixuan asked. Yi Qingtang sighed. "Senior brother Yu, you are an inner sect disciple of Yunshao sect while I'm only an outer sect disciple. Isn't it normal that you have not seen me before?" As Yi Qingtang said, Yunshao sect had many outer sect disciples, and it was impossible for him to meet all of them before. Third heaven of martial qi level 2, Yu Tiancheng pondered as he scanned Yi Qingtang. Yunshao sect outer sect disciples were at least at the second heaven of martial chi level 2, while this girl was at the third heaven of martial chi level 2. There should not be any errors. Why and what are you doing here? Yu Tianqing questioned. From Yu Tianqing's behavior, Yi Qingtang knew that he was an extremely cautious person, and thus she was on full alert as well. She chuckled. Senior brother Yu, I've been hiding in Wen Moon sect, and I just engulfed the spirit roots of a few genius disciples a few days ago, which allowed my spirit root to upgrade. Wuxia World. Site, intended to return to the sect today and did not expect to meet you here. Yu Tianqing's suspicions were slightly reduced upon hearing that. The sect sent quite a number of outer sect disciples to hide in the 3 sects to snatch the spirit roots of those genius disciples in order to strengthen themselves. While this was not a shocking secret in Yunshao sect, it was not allowed to be divulged out, and there was no way others would know of it. However, half of Yu Tianqing's suspicions were gone, but another half remained. Your spirit root just upgraded? Since that is the case, let me take a look then. As he spoke, Yu Tianqing leaped to Yi Qingtang's side while looking at her sharply. Chapter 465 Senior Brother and Junior Sister, 2. Immediately, Yi Qingtang opened her palms and revealed her spirit root in front of Yu Tianqing cooperatively. Not bad. The aura of the spirit root indeed is that of one that has just upgraded. Yu Tianqing nodded. Before waiting for Yi Qingtang to say anything, Yu Tianqing frowned slightly. That's not right. The spirit root is only a yellow spirit root after an upgrade, which means that your previous spirit root is an orange spirit root. Senior brother Yu is right. I was an orange spirit root previously, Yi Qingtang said honestly and naturally. A cold glint flashed across Yu Tianqing's eyes when he heard her. Then, do you know that Yunshao sect's criteria for accepting disciples is that they must at least be a green spirit root? So senior brother Yu is suspecting me. Yi Qingtang could not help but laugh. You're really overthinking, senior brother Yu. Who dares to pretend as a Yunshao sect disciple in the formidable Heavens dynasty? Moreover, I was able to enter Yunshao sect as an exception. Exception? You're talking rather big. Tell me what kind of exception that was then. Yu Tianqing's interest was stirred. A harmless smile hung on his lips, though a deep murderous expression hid in the abyss of his eyes. All right, since you don't believe me, take a good look then. Yi Qingtang raised her arm and opened her palms. Swoosh. In a flash, a golden flame was dancing in Yi Qingtang's palm as though it was the spirit of fur. Looking at the golden flame in the palms of the stunning girl before him, Yu Tianqing showed a surprised look on his face. Paragon skill? Please read at Wuxia World. Site only the ultimate origin skill had not appeared on this mainland for too long of a time, and there was not much difference between the ultimate origin skill and the paragon skill. As a result, Yu Tianqing mistook it, and Yi Qingtang was naturally confident of this. Understanding the paragon skill as a yellow spirit root is pretty good but not enough for the sect to make an exception, Yu Tianqing mumbled. Senior brother Yu, are you sure? I understood the paragon skill as a yellow spirit root? Yi Qingtang's face was full of smiles. Oh, so you mean, then, there was a change in Yu Tianqing's expression. Yu Tianqing suddenly recalled that Yi Qingtang already revealed the aura of her spirit root earlier on, and although it was a yellow spirit root, it did upgrade not long ago. It was simply impossible for someone who had just upgraded to a yellow spirit root to understand the paragon skill in an instant. You understood the paragon skill as an orange spirit root? Yu Tianqing returned to his senses and looked at Yi Qingtang in disbelief. This girl had just upgraded to a yellow spirit root, and there was no way she understood the paragon skill as a yellow spirit root. This meant that she understood it as an orange spirit root. Senior brother Yu is intelligent. Exactly because of this, I was accepted into the sect as an exception, Yi Qingtang said with a chuckle. Yu Tianqing finally returned to his senses after a long while. Understanding the paragon skill as an orange spirit root. I've really not heard of it before. If that was the case, it is explainable why the sect made an exception. You should believe me already, right? Yi Qingtang smiled. No hurry. Yu Tianqing continued. Take out your Yunxiao token. Yunxiao token? Yi Qingtang was stunned. But, as a Yunxiao sect disciple, did you not bring the Yunxiao token when you were out of the sect? Yu Tianqing asked. Why are you so distrustful, senior brother Yu? Why would I pretend to be a Yunxiao sect disciple for nothing? Yi Qingtang shook her head helplessly as she took out a token from her space ring. This token was made from a special material, and a mystical cloud was carved on it. It definitely would not be an imitation. It indeed is the Yunxiao token. After inspecting Yi Qingtang's token carefully, Yu Tianqing finally let down his guard completely. Chapter 466 Senior Brother and Junior Sister 3. Seeing that Yu Tianqing finally believed her fully, Yi Qingtang's lips curled up as a cold sneer filled the back of her eyes. She never expected this Yu Tianqing to be so cautious and distrustful. Fortunately, she searched the body of that disciple whom Yi Tianqiu killed and obtained this Yunxiao token. Ah, junior sister, it is my nature to be distrustful. Please forgive me. Yu Tianqing laughed. Currently, Yu Tianqing had completely believed in Yi Qingtang's identity as a Yunxiao sect disciple. No worries. After all, I just entered Yunxiao sect and am an outer sect disciple. It is understandable that you're suspicious of me since you haven't seen me before. Yi Qingtang replied. Noticing that Yu Tianqing had let his guard down, Yi Qingtang suddenly looked at Jixuan and pretended to be surprised. Senior brother Yu, who is that? Why is he trapped in the array formation? Yu Tianqing scoffed at that. The disciple of perfected Xianxin in Falling Sky Valley. As a citizen of Nine Knights Dynasty, he was so bold to come to the formidable Heavens Dynasty. Our sect had arranged spies in Falling Sky Valley, and they notified me of Jixuan's route and motive of coming to the formidable Heavens Dynasty. Upon hearing Yu Tianqing's words, Jixuan, who was sealed in the array formation, frowned deeply. Had he not heard it for himself, he would definitely not believe that there were spies of Yunxiao sect in Falling Sky Valley. No wonder, Yi Qingtang pondered silently. She was wondering why Yunxiao sect would be so generous for a disciple to have this many remarkable talismans. So it was that Yunxiao sect master deliberately sent Yu Tianqing to kill Jixuan and thus handed him those array formations in a talisman. Otherwise, even if Yu Tianqing was skilled, he was still lacking when facing a genius like Jixuan. Yunxiao sect had prepared for all of this long ago. It was not out of luck that Jixuan died in Yu Tianqing's hands in her previous life. Yunxiao sect is so shameless to arrange spies in my Falling Sky Valley. Jixuan criticized angrily as he withstood the force of destruction. How dare you? Before Yu Tianqing said anything, Yi Qingtang suddenly sneered. Who do you think you are to insult Yunxiao sect? Junior sister, there's no need to waste your saliva on someone who is about to die, Yu Tianqing said nonchalantly. Jixuan was destined to be a dead man. What could he do even if he learned of everything? Oh right, senior brother Yu, what is this person's motive for coming to formidable Heavens Dynasty? Yi Qingtang wore an obedient expression as she looked at Yu Tianqing curiously. Regeneration Stone. Yu Tianqing did not hide anything as a white crystal floated in his palm. This item can renew the bones of a dying person. The days of Falling Sky Valley's old valley master are numbered, and he needs the regeneration stone to keep his life. What a pity that their calculations failed. The regeneration stone that Jixuan used a Herculean effort to obtain is now in my hands. When I return to the sect and turn it in, it would definitely be a great merit. Senior brother Yu is indeed amazing. I am full of admiration. Yi Qingtang cupped her fists as she looked at him in adoration. Regeneration Stone. Jixuan realized that the regeneration stone which he hid in a certain corner previously was now in Yu Tianqing's hands. It seems that there really are spies in my Falling Sky Valley. Otherwise, how would you be able to tail me for days and even find the place where hid the regeneration stone? Indignation filled Jixuan's eyes. Visit Wuxia World. Site for this novel's latest chapters. He had no regrets even if he died there, but that regeneration stone was a life-saving item for the Old Valley Master. His master and Old Valley Master believed in him and entrusted this heavy responsibility to him, but he ultimately disappointed both of them. Chapter 467 Senior Brother and Junior Sister, 4. Immediately, Yixuan fell on his knees and bowed in the southern direction where Falling Sky Valley was. He blamed himself fully, and even death was not enough to pay for his offense. Pride filled Yu Tiancheng's eyes as he watched Yixuan. After a while, he told Yi Qingtang, "Junior sister, I will be here to watch Yixuan die. You can return to the sect to submit your mission first." "Alright, be careful, senior brother Yu. Don't let this scumbag of Falling Sky Valley escape." Yi Qingtang agreed without hesitation and walked out the valley. However, Yi Qingtang suddenly stopped in her tracks halfway and looked at Yu Tiancheng with a frown. "Senior brother Yu, I forgot about something. Earlier on in the valley, I saw Yi Tianchou, who is ranked 9 on the assassination roll." Wuxia World. Site, Yi Tianchou? Yu Tiancheng was surprised. Yi Tianchou was rather skilled. He was already at the peak of the first heaven of martial chi level 3 5 years ago and was ranked 9 on the assassination roll. What was he doing here? Yu Tiancheng was a little confused. "I don't know about that." Yi Qingtang shook her head as she continued with a slight frown. Yi Tianch's nasty reputation is widely known, and he is too skilled, so I did not dare to get close to him. However, I seem to have heard him mumbling something about the Spirit Life Flower. Spirit Life Flower? Yu Tiancheng's expression changed immediately. "Senior sister Yi, you discovered the Spirit Life Flower in this valley a long time ago, but it was not ripe yet at that time. Thus, Yi sent a junior brother to guard it. Once it matured, it was to be plucked and brought back to the sect for her. However, it had been days since the agreed timing for his return to the sect, and there was still no news of that junior brother. Before he came to the valley this time, Yi had specially ordered him to head into the valley and investigate what happened after settling the issue with the Falling Sky Valley disciple. Wuxia W. Orald. Site Spirit Life Flower. Could it be?" A glint flashed in Yu Tiancheng's eyes. "Junior sister, are you sure that he was Yi Tianchou, and he mentioned the Spirit Life Flower?" Yu Tiancheng asked hurriedly. Yi Qingtang nodded extremely certainly. "I've seen Yi Tianch's portrait. I definitely will not identify him wrongly, and I did hear him talking about the Spirit Life Flower." "This is bad." Yu Tiancheng knew that there was trouble. The junior brother had not brought the Spirit Life Flower back to the sect after a long time, and it must have been closely related to Yi Tianchou. Yu Tiancheng was frantic at that moment, but the force of destruction had not completely exploded to kill Yixuan, and he could not move away. "Senior brother Yu, what happened?" Yi Qingtang asked. Yu Tiancheng glimpsed at Yi Qingtang and said immediately, "Junior sister, this is an urgent matter. I'll tell you the exact location of the Spirit Life Flower, and you are to go there to check. If you encounter Nanchou, kill him." Yi Qingtang was surprised and shook her head hurriedly after hearing Yu Tiancheng. "Senior brother Yu, I'm afraid I can't. You should be aware of Yi Tianch's reputation." "What is so scary about that?" Yu Tiancheng frowned, displeased. "Senior brother Yu, Yi Tianch's nickname is the Great Flower Thief. No one knows how many ladies he has insulted, not mentioning how I can't defeat him with my skills, even if I'm more powerful than him. I'm a girl, and I don't have the courage to." Yi Qingtang had an aggrieved expression. "Humph! How can you have so many excuses as a Yunshao sect disciple?" Yu Tiancheng was a little impatient. While he spoke disdainfully, deep down, he also felt that Yi Qingtang was not Yi Tianch's opponent. If they acted rashly, alarmed the enemy, and let Yi Tianchou escape instead, things would even be more troublesome. Chapter 468 Internal Strife? 1. Yu Tiancheng replied immediately. "Since that is the case, you will stay here to guard this array formation and Jixuan. There is a force of destruction from senior sister Yi Yu's blue spirit root. In a while, Jixuan will be nothing but bones. You don't need to do anything. Just don't let anyone come near and wait for me to return." "Alright. Rest assured, senior brother Yu. With me here, no one will be able to come near here." Yi Qingtang hurriedly agreed and nodded. At that moment, Yu Tiancheng was burning with anxiety and immediately turned around to leave without explaining much to Yi Qingtang. At the same time, a loud bang sounded. Yixuan, who was sealed in the array formation, was astounded, and his jaws fell wide open. The moment Yu Tiancheng turned around, Yixuan saw that the Yunshao sect girl immediately turned hostile and slapped his back. Without surprise, Yu Tiancheng's body flew out and knocked on a rock over 10 meters away. Boom! The rock crumbled into pieces from the impact. Yu Tiancheng further caused several sturdy trees to fall and finally fell on the ground. Yu Tiancheng's complexion was pale, and blood gushed out of his mouth. He looked at Yi Qingtang in disbelief. After saying just one word, Yu Tiancheng spat another mouthful of blood again. Yi Qingtang looked at Yu Tiancheng, who collapsed below a tall tree after being severely injured from just one move from her, and her lips curled up in a playful smile. She darted to where Yu Tiancheng was swiftly. Yu Tiancheng clenched his teeth, wanting to stand up, but that one slap from that girl utterly smashed all life in him, and all his vital organs were damaged. Who exactly are you? Yu Tiancheng used all his energy to ask the devilishly stunning girl who had arrived before him. Senior brother Yi, have you forgotten that you offended me before? The smile on her lips deepened as she looked at Yu Tiancheng's twisted expression. Other than today, I've never seen you before that all. Yu Tiancheng said between pants. He was in a hurry to leave just now and did not guard against this girl at all. Who would have thought that she would launch a sneak attack from behind him and attack his gate of vitality? You are not a Yunshao sect disciple. Yu Tiancheng was not foolish. He was so cautious, but there was still a slip. However, what replied him was the demonic blood sword that had already been drawn out of its scabbard. Swoosh! The demonic blood sword waved in Yi Qingtang's hand. A blood-colored sword shadow emerged and pierced through Yu Tiancheng's chest. In just a moment, Yu Tiancheng stared disbelievingly at the demonic blood sword that was pierced in his chest and watched blood spatter out from the wound. I don't like to beat Yi with a dead person. Yi Qingtang looked at the pale Yu Tiancheng from a commanding position. She suddenly withdrew her demonic blood sword out and flicked her wrist for the blood on the sword to fall off. Indignation was written all over Yu Tiancheng's face. Even when he died, he still did not understand what exactly happened. Looking at Yu Tiancheng, who had already stopped breathing, Yi Qingtang bent down and took his space ring away without hesitation. At that instant, Yixuan was flabbergasted. He only saw Yi Qingtang suddenly attacking Yu Tiancheng previously, and the two of them flew over 10 meters away. He could not hear what they said afterward and only witnessed Yu Tiancheng being killed by Yi Qingtang. They were both Yunshao sect disciples, yet why would Yu Tiancheng be killed by another Yunshao sect disciple? Could it be that the two of them had an internal strife? Yixuan was extremely puzzled. Chapter 469 Internal Strife? 2. After Yu Tiancheng died, Yi Qingtang waved an arm over him, and a golden flame burned him completely into nothing. Then, Yi Qingtang turned around and sprinted to Yixuan. Looking at the stunned Yixuan, Yi Qingtang walked forward and asked, Yixuan, do you wish to escape from the array formation? Wuxia world. Sight Yixuan frowned slightly at that. There were no emotions as he looked at the young girl who killed her fellow sect disciple. So what if I wish to or not? Would you all, Yunshao sect disciples, would let me off? Yi Qingtang could not help but laugh and shake her head as she saw how Yixuan was still so cold. So you think that Yu Tiancheng and I had an internal strife and that I killed him? Isn't it? Ji Yixuan's brows were furrowed. The supposed sect ties were nothing compared to how some disciples bred enmity between each other and secretly struck when they were out of the sect. Yi Qingtang looked at Yixuan, who stood there helplessly, and an evil smile flashed across her eyes. Then she nodded and said, Yes, you guessed it right. Jay have an internal strife with Yu Tiancheng. Yu Tiancheng has the regeneration stone and even a Dharma treasure, demon subduing pagoda. When I kill him, these items are naturally mine. Huh? Yixuan stared at Yi Qingtang and scoffed. Do you think that Yunshao sect would not realize it when you kill Yu Tiancheng? If they find out, Yunshao sect would naturally not let you off. And Falling Sky Valley would not let you off since you obtained the demon-subduing pagoda. You don't have to worry, Jishuan. You are already someone who is about to die. Don't waste any more saliva talking. Just take a look at this world for the last time. Yi Qingtang shrugged slightly and left directly without being concerned about what Jishuan said. As Jishuan watched Yi Qingtang leave, Jishuan slowly shut his eyes as the breath of destruction intensified gradually. However, right at that moment, swoosh, the shadow of a demonic blood sword emerged. The demonic blood sword in Yi Qingtang's hand shot past and knocked on the array formation hardly. This array formation in a talisman was difficult to break from the inside, but if attacked from the outside, it was relatively simple to break it. Swoosh. As Yi Qingtang's sword landed, there was a sound of broken glass in the sealed array formation. Almost instinctively, Jishuan fled from the broken array formation instantly. A few breaths later, Jishuan looked at Yi Qingtang in disbelief. This Yunshao sect disciple actually cracked the array formation and allowed him to escape? Why did you do this? Jishuan had a confused expression. Even if Yunshao sect disciples fought internally, this girl launched a sneak attack and killed Yu Tiancheng but should not have released him. You're indeed the same as what Master described. How boring. Yi Qingtang tilted her head as she scanned Jishuan up and down. Master. What do you mean? Confusion filled Jishuan. I was just joking with you just now. I am not a Yunshao sect disciple, Yi Qingtang said honestly. Really? Jishuan frowned. Otherwise, why would I save you? Yi Qingtang chuckled. Jishuan was at a loss of words at that moment. Jishuan initially thought that he would die without a doubt today, yet unexpectedly, a random girl of an unknown origin saved him, and even Yu Tiancheng, that small disciple of Yunshao sect master, was tricked and killed by her. Hurry back to your sect and submit your mission. Yi Qingtang took the regeneration stone from Yu Tiancheng and tossed it to Jishuan without hesitation. Chapter 470 Internal Strife? 3. After receiving the regeneration stone, Yi Qingtang spoke again without waiting for Jishuan to speak. And your demon-subduing pagoda. Then Yi Qingtang tossed the demon-subduing pagoda that she found on Yu Tiancheng's body to Jishuan. Looking at the regeneration stone and demon-subduing pagoda that he regained, Jishuan was a little dumbfounded in a moment. Not only did he survive from an ultimate death situation, but even the demon-subduing pagoda and regeneration stone were back in his hands. Who exactly are you? Jishuan looked up suddenly and at the alluring teen girl before him in surprise. Regardless of whether it was the regeneration stone or demon-subduing pagoda, both were mystic treasures. Even if this girl was not a Yunshao sect disciple, these two items were an extremely huge temptation to anyone, but this girl actually returned them to him just like that? Who I am is not important. What is important is that you are not dead and did not lose the regeneration stone and the demon-subduing pagoda. Afterward, Yi Qingtang turned around and left. I am Jishuan of Falling Sky Valley. May I ask for your name, please? I will definitely return your great kindness today. Jishuan said hurriedly as he watched Yi Qingtang leave. Yi Qingtang. Yi Qingtang. Jishuan mumbled as though he had never heard of this name before. Thank you, Lady Yi, Jishuan said to the distance without knowing whether Yi Qingtang could hear. On the other hand, Yi Qingtang had already walked far away at that moment. Yunshao sect lost 2 disciples, and one of them was even the sect master's disciple. Not long later, Yunshao sect would probably organize a search. Because of the influence of her ultimate origin skill, the force of the primordial qi in her body had turned gold and was exceptionally striking. Read only at Wuxia World. Sight to prevent complications, Yi Qingtang chose to return to the sect by feet instead of continuing to use the feather formation technique. With Yi Qingtang's speed, she would take about at least a few days to walk back to Quanling sect. Throughout the journey, Yi Qingtang passed by a city and used her remaining gold to purchase a horse as a mean of transportation. 2 days later, Yi Qingtang passed by a mausoleum on her journey back. An elderly was guarding outside the mausoleum. His hair was gray, and he seemed to be old from his appearance. However, once the horse crossed paths with the elderly who was blocking their way, its body stiffened and did not move no matter how Yi Qingtang whipped it as though it became a statue. That's strange. Yi Qingtang looked at the horse below her and frowned. Little girl, this road is not open. You should take another route. The elderly, with seemingly cloudy eyes, radiated an unknowing glow as he smiled at Yi Qingtang. Take another route? Yi Qingtang was surprised. This mausoleum was a shortcut to Xianling sect, and she would take at least one more day if she changed her route. Michim, I have sealed this area. It is wiser for you to continue your journey with another route, said the elderly with a laugh. You have sealed it? Yi Qingtang looked at the elderly. What big talk? This area has been deserted for hundreds of years, and there's no owner. Is it sealed just because you said it? There was a feasible shortcut right there, but she was asked to take another route. How would Yi Qingtang agree to this? Nonetheless, the elderly was not bothered by her words and remained smiling. I sealed this area in order to save the lives of you ignorant people. Just listen to what this old man says. Take another route and leave quickly. Before Yi Qingtang said anything else, a terrifying imposing aura spread out from the inside of the mausoleum. In almost the blink of an eye, this frightening aura enshrouded the surroundings. Read only at Wuxia World. Chapter 471 Worshipper of the Blood Moon Sect 1. Yi Qingtang's breath almost stopped under such an outrageous aura. She felt that her heart was held by an invisible hand. Such terrifying aura. Yi Qingtang's face was filled with astonishment. She looked towards the mausoleum and wondered who the horrifying person inside was. At that moment, the elder sneered and said, Finally, you can't bear with it anymore? You want to escape now? A cold humph came out of the mausoleum at the same time. A streak of silver light rushed out of the mausoleum and flew away. The elder's eyes sparkled as he saw the silver light. He laughed scornfully. Want to escape? The elder did not bother to look at Yi Qingtang, and a cyan sword flew from his waist. The elder stepped onto the sword and flew into the clouds. The horse's stiff body slightly relaxed after an hour. It was so frightened and it howled. Yi Qingtang could only use her primordial qi to comfort it. Yi Qingtang frowned. The silver shadow that flew out from the mausoleum had an extremely terrifying aura, and the elder who seemed to be an ordinary person was surprisingly a strong person. No wonder the elder did not allow her to walk through the mausoleum and asked her to make a detour. Wuxiaworld. Sid Yi Qingtang stared at the mausoleum and immersed herself in deep thought. Though the elder had left with the silver shadow, Yi Qingtang still decided to make a detour. The intense aura had yet dispersed from the mausoleum, and her horse definitely could not walk through. After a while, Yi Qingtang rode the horse and detoured. Yi Qingtang sat on the horse, and her hand was holding a space ring. She acquired the space ring from Yu Tiancheng after the assassination. There was great primordial power sealed inside the space ring. Besides Yu Tiancheng, it was difficult for others to access it. During the 2 days, Yi Qingtang used her own primordial GI to erode Yu Tiancheng's primordial power. After a while, joy filled her eyes. That's it, Yi Qingtang murmured, and her face was filled with joy. Though Yu Tiancheng's primordial qi was strong, Yi Qingtang's primordial qi was affected by the ultimate origin skill and had some kind of mutation. It was mixed with a flame aura that could destroy and erode Yu Tiancheng's space ring. After neutralizing the sealing power, Yi Qingtang immediately looked into the space ring. Yu Tiancheng's space ring contained a black sword and some random stuff. Just a sword, Yi Qingtang frowned. She thought that as the Yunshao sect disciple, he must have stored some precious stuff inside the space ring. Wuxia World. Sight she did not expect there to be only one weapon inside. Yi Qingtang took out the black sword. When she held the sword in her hand, the coldness she felt was like pure ice. The quality is still okay, Yi Qingtang contemplated for a while. The sword's quality was even higher than her demonic blood sword. Martial weapons quality was classified with heaven, earth, black, and yellow grades. The heaven grade was the strongest divine weapons. The earth grade was slightly lower. The black grade was the spirit weapons, and the yellow grade was the most inferior ones. In most of the sects, the Shenling sect for example, the outer sect disciples' weapons were ordinary weapons. Yellow-grade weapons were considered rare, and Yi Qingtang's demonic blood sword belonged to the yellow grade. Chapter 472 Worshipper of the Blood Moon Sect 2. Yu Tiancheng's black sword ranked among superior yellow-grade weapons. Though the quality of the black sword was not bad, Yi Qingtang did not plan to use it or sell it at an auction. As a Yunshao sect disciple, many people might recognize Yu Tiancheng's sword. If she was seen using the sword, there would be adverse consequences. It took great effort for her to kill the enemy of her previous life, but she did not expect that the only thing she gained was a yellow-grade sword that she could not use in public. Soon Yi Qingtang started looking through the random stuff inside the space ring. Talisman? Yi Qingtang was delighted. There were a few of the Yunshao sect master's talismans in the random stuff. Yi Qingtang immediately took out the talismans. Each talisman contained a terrifying aura. These are the things that I need the most now. Yi Qingtang's lips curled, and she placed the sword and the talismans into her space ring. Boom! Just when Yi Qingtang was studied with her gains, a shadow flashed at a few hundred meters away suddenly. The shadow then fell to the ground, and there was a huge impact that seemed like it could shake the core of the earth. A cloud of dust was spinning in the wind, and the entire view was covered by the dust. Yi Qingtang was stunned and looked up at the void instinctively. What is that? It seems that it dropped from the sky? The impact of the force created a huge hole on the ground that was about 10 feet deep and 10 feet wide. Yi Qingtang was stunned. If her horse's speed was slightly faster just now, the thing that dropped from the sky might have her directly. If she were hit, the force would definitely kill her directly without any doubt. So, today she was almost killed by the unexpected misfortune? Yi Qingtang came down from the horse, and she slowly walked towards the hole curiously. Yi Qingtang was totally shocked. There was a handsome young man lying in the hole. The red robe that the man wore was broken into pieces, and his silver hair scattered around his waist. There was a blood moon at his glabella that appeared to be heretic. Blood moon? Yi Qingtang was stunned as she remembered the same symbol that she saw on the Blood Moon Sect Elder. However, the one on Blood Moon Sect Elder was dark red. The blood moon on this man was redder. Only people at the position of master and above in the Blood Moon Sect would have the blood moon symbol. The man in front of her was very young, and there was no heretic aura like the one on the Blood Moon Sect Elder. If he took over someone's body. However, the Blood Moon Sect Elder's blood moon disappeared after taking over another's body. Or was this person a worshipper of the Blood Moon Sect? Yi Qingtang could not figure out the identity of the person. Even though the fall of the Blood Moon Sect happened long ago, the rumors were still spreading around. There were rumors saying that some were obsessed with the Blood Moon Sect and that they imitated them. Yi Qingtang guessed that this man might be one of the imitators. Did this guy fall off from the sky? Yi Qingtang raised her head and looked into the sky again. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.